Previously on the Pat Mayo Experience.
Could you do an Undertaker? Can you do a Paul Bearer?
No,
impression?
you can. No, let's hear it.
I can, Tim.
Everyone, it's Paul Bearer.
I got one for you, Tim.
Okay.
All right. Oh, my Undertaker, you have no idea what you're going to do, Hogan. And I see you, child, row 2. That pizza looks delicious.
The Pat Mayo Experience. Pat Mayo Experience. Pat Mayo Experience. Pat Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings. Week 13 picks against the spreads. Omaha Stakes premium picks of the week, aka SUPERLOCKS, plus a Cust Corner mini to get you going through the week. If you're here, you may as well smash the like. And if you're not subbed to the channel, give your head a shake, pal. And sub to that channel. You smash that sub button so hard your screen breaks, okay? Play in the Listeners League as well. That's down in the description right now. Rake free. It's filling up very quickly, so I would go get my spot if I was you and I wanted to play in it. Geoff Fienberg on the line with me right now. What is the goal for the Chargers for the rest of the season? Lose out?
I honestly don't. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe. I don't think losing out does anyone good. I don't know. It's just such a clusterfuck, I would say. I don't have an answer. I will say for the first time, and you could even like run this by Pizzola, who's known me longer than anyone in the Mayo media orbit. I told like all these guys in their sharps and their models with the getting the hook at 3.5, even at 3. They're like, no, the Chargers always win this game. I was pleading with these nerds. Like, you cannot trust this team. This team is worse. This team is worse. There is, I hope maybe the misconception that the team is talented can get blown up maybe through the final week. Like, you look at like PFF grades in that Packer game, it's like Herbert 97 and second place is in the 60s. Like, that is where we are, right? There are so many problems. Yeah, I don't know, but I've never been so confident in the opponent in my life in a game.
What about this week against New England? Are you confident in them?
They lost to the Giants. Like, what was... I saw someone tweeted the advanced on that game was 4, and the Chargers looked horrific, and it went to 6 just because you lost to the Giants. So I don't know. Like, there are teams so bad, Pat, and what is the Chargers' MO? Like, look at it. Go back to last year. Those are the games they actually, like, all of them. O'Connell, Bagent, Zach Wilson. Last year was Nick Foles late in the season. Baker, like his second start with the Rams. It's like the who's who of Nut Low, they beat. So, and the Patriots provide the who's who of Nut Low. And I joked before the Packer game is like, you'll find out if Jordan Love is Nut Low. And clearly he's progressed in the last like 3 weeks. And that was probably his best. Well, I don't know. Maybe he played better in the Lions game statistically. I'm not sure. That was his first great game. So I'm like, well, I guess we know he's not Nut Low, because the Chargers can take care of Nut Low. But anything above Nut Low, like, that's where we are, I think. I'm not naive. Like, I don't just ring the bell. Like you can't piss on me and tell me it's raining. Like, I know I'm being pissed on now.
Did you?
And they blew it 2 years ago by not getting in the playoffs with a fun young team. Staley cluster fucking that Raider game in the overtime that we went hero mode to get it to. And then last year we blew a 27-0 lead. So those were our opportunities to maybe pull something off. And now we're just like a dead fish.
Well,
we are a dead fish, and we are we are not serious people.
The coin
like the Panthers can
is
fire
in studio
a coach
with me. Well, maybe you can hire Frank Reich. He's available, I hear. Paul is in
I want to
studio.
hire Phillip Rivers.
Okay. Paul is in studio with me as well, and someone who might have different things to say about the Patriots season, as we heard on Sunday night. It is Tim Undercust.
Tim Undercust.
That is not my name.
Are you feeling good about the Patriots this week?
I am feeling good about. No, I like the Chargers actually quite a bit this week, despite some people telling me that the infrastructure was so strong in New England that
You're such a dweeb. You know that?
If you weren't so emphatic about it at the start of the year, if you didn't make me feel like I was 3 inches tall for
you
saying
wouldn't take a bet. You wouldn't take a bet.
Well,
and
I did later take, but then I later did take a bet.
And then a month ago, I offered you to bet again, and you said no. And then you get up on a show, and you're so in your own little bubble where you're like, the whole world was like telling me something, and Pat's like very clearly like, no, that was you and Geoff, 2 of the 3 people on the show we do, debating on a topic, and yes, you were correct. We debated a shit sandwich, and the shit sandwich that I picked is a lot shittier than the shit sandwich you were vouching for. Congratulations.
Well,
congratulations.
What
are we doing here?
Fortunately,
we're a victory lap like Patriots v Raiders the whole year. You didn't call anything else right you can stand on. Like, what the fuck, man? Make a bet. And you don't have to do
we
this.
did make a bet when they played each other.
And that's it.
We did make a bet when they played each other, and you lost.
I mean on the season.
Okay.
You turned it down time and time and time again.
Yes, I did. No, that's not in dispute.
Well, the Patriots are
so
still better.
You want to do the what was Tim right about, what was Tim wrong about, like breakdown on the season preview show?
He was right about the Bills.
I just want to talk about this point.
He was right about the Bills.
Yeah,
he was.
Yeah.
But the Patriots are still better DVOA, Tim, than the Raiders are. You love DVOA.
Well, because the Patriots have a win against the Bills, which DVOA loves, and they nearly beat the Eagles, which, it's a top 6 or 7 team in DVOA. So, of course.
Played Miami tough.
Did play Miami tough. That's right.
They beat the Chargers. Maybe not, but
no, I don't think
could.
So.
Philly's actually 9th.
But no, Tim, congratulate.
Yeah,
Tim, what can we do? You were right. I was wrong.
It's kind of all I needed to hear.
Okay. I think
kind of what I just needed to hear. Now we're good.
That's it.
I'm a simple man.
Okay.
Simple man. I look forward to arguing about other shit sandwiches in the future.
You watched the Tepper press conference. How was it?
Yeah, I'm always fascinated about those. Testy, defensive, sometimes a little bit awkward, but as it should be. And then one of their main reporters from the Charlotte Observer was raising his hand the whole time to ask a question, and they wouldn't go to him. They skipped over him. So that was kind of intriguing. And then he was complaining on the internet after, but I think he had wrote clearly some not favorable things. I don't know. I feel like obviously it's a shit show there. You could argue it's a maybe the worst situation in the league because they don't have their picks. But yeah, it was pretty awkward. I am one of the few people in the world, though, that don't just blindly believe this story that everyone in that organization wanted them to pick CJ Stroud, and David Tepper's own personal scouting opinion had them pick Bryce Young. And that everyone, or 85% of NFL media folk who started taking a piss on CJ Stroud was doing that because none of their own opinions in scouting or football, but because they got word that the guy who owns the team in Carolina, his personal preference is Bryce Young. So I do feel that story is so far overblown, but I don't know, you make a moth into a mountain, or I don't know, some stupid saying, but yeah.
Tim, do you often make moths into mountains?
No, very rarely does
molehill into mountains. I don't know, something stupid.
A mountain into a molehill, Jeffrey.
Okay, there. Happy you're here.
Tim, would you feel good if you were the Charlotte Observer reporter and you were at a press conference with the owner and Frank Reich had just been fired and they wouldn't call on you for a question?
I would be extremely annoyed and would whine on Twitter, so I can empathize. And pick up my pen at the next time I wrote my column and be annoyed about it.
That's what you, instead of writing about the team, you would just write about how they wouldn't pick you?
No, I would find a way to discuss how that's emblematic of a franchise that's sort of in decline. Could be worse, but I actually don't agree that the Panthers are in the worst position of any team.
Who do you think is?
It's not favorable.
Who is in the worst position of any team? I think they might be in the worst position of any team. They don't have a first-round pick.
No, but for 1 year.
Sure, but that's going to set. That's going to, like, you made the wrong choice, presumably, at quarterback. Like, if Bryce Young doesn't develop into something, because you just watched this with Zach Wilson. Like, you're committed to this guy for like at least 3 years, and he's going to suck each of those 3 years.
Like,
and,
if I had
and
to
he
pick,
and he just generated, but he just generated you the first overall pick, and you're not going to be able to make
Rosen him if they wanted to,
but they don't have a pick.
Had their pick.
They don't have the. If they could have, like Arizona did with Kyler Murray, but they don't have the first pick to do that.
If we're talking about bleakness, like, I don't know. I would rather be in their position than the Browns' position, for example.
No.
The Browns are in so much uncuttable money for the next 5 years. You are hamstrung as a franchise.
The only reason that maybe you could make this argument is you could get to a level of being competitive in that NFC South landscape where it doesn't really look like there's a long-term quarterback answer anywhere. So you're not really behind the 8 ball, like in totality versus your rivals in other spots. So maybe that would be the reason alone for me to say Carolina isn't in the worst position in the league.
And I wouldn't say it's
like
the
Tampa
Browns.
was competitive standings wise till a week ago.
They're still
they're
a game back in the division. Like they're fine.
Oh, so they're still in it. Like that's
but that division is kind of over now. We kind of know that.
Why? Because the Falcons have a commanding 5-6 record, tied with the Saints.
No, but they're clearly the better team.
Are they?
Well, you know what I think.
Yeah, David Carr doesn't know that he should look off safeties. Apparently, that safeties don't like do anything on the fly. That was an embarrassing press conference.
So how many press conferences are you watching a week?
I don't know. I watched the good ones.
How do you know which ones are the good ones? Is there a
the good ones?
Is there
the rest of the league?
Is there a Windsor Super Sister Saverns palettes of press conferences that you just know, or do you have to like watch them all to figure out which one are the good ones?
No, but once there's like things go viral, I like to see it in more of a fuller context. Yeah, it was just an embarrassing sequence for Carr.
It was embarrassing. It wasn't as embarrassing as, throwing 4 interceptions on prime time and, completely embarrassing your team with 10 points like other quarterbacks have done.
Oh,
he threw 4 interceptions.
Josh Dobbs.
Last night
threw 4 interceptions. They go into the bye week.
It's funny. I watched that game and I'm just thinking of Tim. Like Tim gets to victory lap. Josh.
Not only that, I'm still on team. Fields is good and he should be the Bears quarterback. And if they have the first pick, they should also trade it again this year.
Maybe
I'm on that. I'm still on that bandwagon.
I mean,
the Bears are the first pick. I don't know that.
I'd take a
People
quarterback.
said the best player in the draft is going to be the junior from
you
Ohio
could take
State.
you could take Marvin Harrison Jr., but you don't have to take him at 1. You could trade back 3 or 4 spots and get him almost certainly. And Fields is good, so I'd stick with him.
College football.
Hold on. Fields attempted 1 pass over 10 yards in the entire game.
Yeah, but he runs in such an electric fashion that if you could just harness the right offensive coaches with him, sky's the limit. I really like that.
QB1 in the draft, a guy who runs too.
Yeah, but maybe he'll be okay.
Paul has a comment.
He fumbled twice with the game on the
Yes.
line.
Did he lose?
So this is how you're going to do
He made
everything?
the big
Kenny
plays.
Pickett's the man, right? Like
but he made
best.
he made the big play in the end, and they're fine.
I mean-
like go on the road in division against a team with the the dark horse MVP and Josh Dobbs, and the defense embarrasses them, and the Bears win the game.
It should have been intentional grounding.
I
Let's be honest.
Stop it!
I also have to ask, who called Josh Dobbs a dark horse MVP?
Nobody. I am just being hyperbolic about the excitement that people have had for.
No, all we
Them
said
like
was
he's-
that,
like he's Kurt Warner.
That people liked a
Kurt
good
Warner coming off the sideline.
underdog story. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
sorry, you didn't like an underdog story.
He's Michael Block of the NFL, and last night was the Colonial.
Did he play in the Colonial?
Yeah, it was the next tournament that he played. Or, yeah, the Charles Schwab, where he finished a DFL, which
Ah.
brought Geoff no end of joy.
I love Tim so much. No, we just said like this is a guy. Before the trade deadline, all Pat literally said that we agreed with, probably everyone listening, was this is a guy who's probably worth the 6th round pick flyer. Like if that's what he's worth, and he can keep your season on the rails, then that is worth it.
Zach
And you
Wilson
turn
can
that
throw
into an argument that never existed about
Zach Wilson can throw 4 picks at home on prime time and lose to a team without scoring a touchdown.
Yeah, but he's not going to do it again next week.
No, they're off.
Yeah, they're on bye. But then,
Dobbs,
I agree with you, Geoff. And they get
that's why he's not very good.
And they get Justin Jefferson back after the bye week too, and they're still like fine right now. I mean, they have to win games obviously to make the playoffs, but they're still in the driver's seat at the moment for that last wild card spot.
How many times have they played the Packers?
I don't think they have.
It's like the Packers would have every chance to
well, yes, Tim. What I just said, you have to continue to win. They beat the Packers twice. They're in the playoffs.
Well, almost every single team in the NFL is in the quote-unquote driver's seat when there's 6 games left.
Not really.
I could think of a couple who aren't.
Just about any team, if they won 6 straight games at the end of the year, would make the playoffs.
I'm sorry. They have played the Packers. They love the Vikings beat the Packers.
So they'll play them just one more time. I don't know what their schedule looks like, but
does 10 wins even guarantee you a playoff spot
in the NFC? Yeah,
and the AFC for that matter, probably.
Yeah, it might be 10-7 in the AFC if someone gets hot down the stretch, but yeah, because right now Seattle and Minnesota have the last 2 spots at 6-5 and 6-6. So I mean, you might be able to get a 9-8, 8-9, something like that. Could be good enough for the 7 seed.
Possibly. I mean, you have all these teams with 6 losses, so yeah, it's tough to say.
Are you trying to say like 7-10 is going to get in? So no comment on that. Okay.
Tim left.
Oh, he left. He left the meeting. He didn't want to have the discussion.
I don't know what just happened.
He didn't want to embrace debate. He got scared of it and ran off. Maybe someone
debate.
Maybe someone came to the door. Yes, Paul.
Can I be the Dobbs defender here?
The dog?
Because, like, Dobbs.
Oh, Dobbs, sure.
I mean, his worst play was not hitting a wide open Addison for a walk-in touchdown.
They scored on that drive.
I know, but like a couple of those interceptions were like right on the hands. His receiver was unable to catch it, and they like popped up in the air. They were weird deflection interceptions.
Yeah,
he played really well, but like
played really well.
Don't give Tim credit on this.
I mean,
he threw 4 picks, and they lost to a team that didn't score a touchdown.
Yeah,
you didn't even hear half of my. You were off the line. You didn't even hear half of my argument. Now you're going to come in.
Well, it's like if your argument is in any way, shape, or form that he didn't look that bad last night.
I'm saying that you didn't watch the game. Because
yes,
I
did.
2 of those interceptions were not his fault at all. They
the
hit
second
the
one was
like,
a
right
bad
in the
bounce,
hands and then deflected into the Bears like linebacker. It was insane.
He was bad. No one's going to say that he was good in that game, but he's 2-2 as their starter, and he has them exactly what they wanted him to do. They brought him in to tread water, and he's been treading water for them. And they're still in the playoffs.
They have I don't know what their schedule is, but looking at
Did
teams
you bet
behind
Paul that they'd make the playoffs?
No, he wouldn't take the bet.
But we look at the schedule,
and then you'll victory lap it when they don't make the playoffs.
No, I'm not going to victory lap. But if I look at the schedule, look at the teams, like I like the Rams and Packers better than I like Minnesota down the stretch.
We also know that you didn't watch the. We know that you didn't watch the game last night because you would have been victory lapping if you were watching that game.
It was a terrible game. I was nothing to victory lap, even though it was my super lock.
You didn't watch it. You would have definitely been dunking on Dobbs.
For your super lock too.
I didn't see a single tweet from you, and I'm like, Tim's not even watching it.
I was watching, but I fell asleep, and then I woke up, and then I fell asleep, and I was tired.
Okay.
Sounds like lies. Yeah, the Vikings go bye week, Raiders, Bengals, Lions, Packers, Lions. And the last Lions game is probably like whatever.
So I think there's 2 wins and 3 losses there, reasonably speaking.
And that could be, I mean, then it
that
really
gets you to 8-9.
So
that
it really
gets you in.
So it hinges on that Packers game. They beat the Packers at home, then they're probably in.
It does sound like that, yeah. Was Green Bay the last game, or was it Lions, Packers, Lions?
It's Lions, Packers, Lions. So it's a week 17.
Yeah, so that New Year's Eve game will be the decisive game.
And the Packers actually have a pretty, let's see, they go No, the Packers' schedule is not great. Their hinge go. They get the Giants, Bucks, and Panthers in a 3-game stretch, which is huge.
So there's 3 W's.
But
Let's
they,
say,
listen,
they'll be favored in all 3 games.
This is still the Packers at this point.
Fair enough.
They play the Chiefs coming out of the.
Not
They
this
play
week.
the Chiefs
This week.
And then they play then they finish Vikings and Bears.
So outside of that Chiefs game, I like him in just about every one of those spots. So I think the Packers have a slight edge there.
Maybe you might be right on that.
And
They
the
have
Rams,
the right
the Rams
schedule
have
for
the
it.
best quarterback of all the teams fighting for the playoffs. The Rams by far have the best quarterback.
I
So-
mean, listen,
and the
I
best
have
receivers.
I have a bet that would like the Rams to make the playoffs. That would be fantastic news for me. But Browns, Ravens. The thing about the Rams is that they're at home against the Saints. Are they even going to be favored in that game? That's a coin flip at best. At
would
home,
think so.
at home against Washington, that's probably a coin. The Rams aren't good by any stretch of the imagination. They can lose
but they
all
have
these games.
they have elite players that none of these other teams do outside of Jefferson. Elite, best at their position type players.
Well, I mean, Stafford's not the best at his position, Tim.
No, but he was everyone's collective top 10 of quarterbacks last year. So Cup's one of 3 or 4 best receivers. The Cup and Puka is one of the best, if not the best receiver tandem. They have Aaron Donald, still one of the very, very best players in football. Anyway, they have that talent level if they're healthy. I don't know. Just looking at it, I think maybe the Rams and Packers have a slight edge over the Seahawks and Vikings as we go down the stretch. Looking at the schedule,
All right. Well,
I'd rather be one of those 2 teams than the Seahawks or Vikings.
okay. Let's get into Thursday Night Football, which is one of those Seattle games. Seattle at Dallas on Thursday Night Football. Both played on Thanksgiving a week ago. Oh, the spread finally came back down a little bit. It was 9.5, which is what we're going with on the board, which it was an hour ago. It's actually down to 8.5 in real time, but this ballooned. What was this when it opened on Sunday night when we did it, Tim? 7?
No, I think it was 8 or 9. Might have been 8.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought it opened at 7 or 7.5, and it got up to 9.5, which is what we got it at right here. I like Seattle in this game. I think this is just another case of all I've been hearing all week now since Thanksgiving, Geoff, and this has been the kiss of death for any team so far this season. Dak's been the best quarterback over the past 6 weeks, which is true. It hasn't been relatively close that Dak has been that good. The Cowboys have been awesome for the past 6 weeks. They should have won the Eagles game, but they didn't because people can't. It's like a buried alive match with the Undertaker. Just even when you beat them, somehow they're not dead. They just stick the hand up through the dirt, and all of a sudden they win games. But I don't know. Just everyone's now back all in on Dallas. And the last time this happened, they went to Arizona and lost. I think Seattle is one of these middle of the road teams, slightly above average. And we saw Dallas have problems with the Chargers earlier in the year. And Seattle's probably a little bit better than the Chargers. So I just like the points in the spot. Dallas beats the crap out of really bad teams. Seattle's not a really bad team. Could they blow them out? Absolutely. They've been fantastic at home. And they've run up the score on a lot of opponents. But this is a game that Seattle really needs in this situation right now, Geoff.
Yeah, I'm going to pay the Cowboy tax. You're probably paying the tax on the Cowboys. Cowboys at home. I'm just going to buy into the narrative still. At the moment, I'm not that high on Seattle. They've really disappointed me. I was quite high on them at some point in the season. So maybe you're right, Pat. It's a great buy low spot on a short week, but I think Dallas is just going to drop the hammer again on someone.
Well, the coin is going with Seattle. I'm going with Seattle. Dallas for Geoff, Tim. Do you still like Geno?
I do like Geno. I think he's a talented player. But look, 30-10, 38-3, 43-20, 49-17, 45-10. Those are the records of the Dallas Cowboys scores in all of their home games this year. They don't just win, they win by big margins. I got to take the Cowboys here. Until Dallas doesn't crush a team at home, I think one has all their work cut out for them not taking them against the spread. So I will.
Who would you say the best team they've played at home is this year? The Rams without... That was the game where Stafford got hurt.
He got hurt in that game, but they were up big early to start. I would say the Rams would be the best of that bunch. But, you play who you play. And it's not like Seattle's been playing gangbusters. They just got, beaten by 2 touchdowns at home last week. So it's by a good team.
Yeah, I mean they got beat by 2 touchdowns by a team that beat Dallas by 32 points.
Yes, one of the elite teams in the NFC, like Dallas. Exactly. I don't know. I don't think the points are too many. I thought to myself, it's hard to imagine taking the Cowboys, Seattle in this game. I don't see it. I think you'd have, for me to be interested in Seattle, it would have to be 10.5 plus. I just don't think it ever gets there. I think there's a little bit of value on Dallas. Certainly more at 8.5 than 9.5, but Dallas should win this and win this by margin. If history teaches us that, that's what's going to happen.
I have more confidence in. I don't love this game. I hate having to bet a big spread on a Thursday night. I'll probably be a square and maybe start a teaser for the week with Dallas, but I have more confidence in Dallas taking a close game and still finding a way to cover this number, not only with their defense, but they're pretty aggressive on offense when they should potentially just be running at the game. And maybe there's a mandate to listen, the game will dictate it. You could think a team's going to blow someone out like did with Detroit last week, and then you're just desperate for any positive momentum. But if Dallas has that positive momentum in this game, I believe there's a mandate to keep this. It's almost like a college for Heisman, this like Dak for MVP shit alive and strong. And they're pouring it on. They're pouring it on, and they're pouring it on purpose.
It's just funny to look through their schedule where they've not faced any of the mid-tier teams in the NFL this year. The Chargers were really the only one that I can see. It's either the
Rams are probably there too.
Not really.
They're a better team than the Chargers, up top and bottom.
I mean, if you put them in SoFi right now, I bet you the Chargers would be favored.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
Not with Stafford. No, I actually don't think that's true. I think the Rams would be favored.
Okay. I mean, this is the same Rams team that was 2.5-point favorites against Arizona last week.
And that was a really bad number.
Yeah, as it turns out.
If they played again this week, what would the spread be? 6? 6.5?
I very much doubt that.
That's almost certainly what it would be.
Certainly, Geoff. What do you think? Is Tim right with his certainty on this?
That the Chargers would be 6-point dogs to the
Rams?
No.
If the Cardinals and Rams were to replay again this week, that spread would not be 2.5. It would probably be 6.
Yeah, it'd probably be like that weird 5.5 range. So
yeah,
I can't really argue Tim with that, but I don't know. I'm not here to defend the fucking Chargers. I mean, I'm not.
No, fair enough.
If they played the Rams schedule, they'd probably be in a better spot.
Yeah, the Rams are in the zone of New Orleans and Green Bay and Tampa Bay and like all those teams. Like they're
the thing with the Chargers. The thing with the Chargers. At least maybe now that's shattered after Sunday night. It can be shattered for some people who think you give us a hook, you give us a number, they can cover it. Thing with the Chargers, they literally can beat anyone, but they choose to lose to everyone instead.
They choose to lose?
Yeah, I don't mean it like that. They lose. They can beat everyone, but they'll just lose instead. They could. Like, you look at the games, you look at the scores. They can win games. They just that's too difficult. But I believe they're better than the Rams, but I don't even give a shit. Who gives a fuck?
Unders are 9-15-1 in the past 25 games that have featured the Seahawks as an underdog, and the overs continue to hit. So this is going to go in the face of all of the primetime games. I think it's the past now 12 primetime games have gone under the number. So if that actually continues, it's good news for the team getting a lot of points. But we'll see if Dallas just continues to pie. Maybe they'll hit the over on their own like they've been doing in some of these contests. Forgot to recap last week. By the way, it was my worst week of the season. ATS, I was 5-11, dropping me to third place. Geoff surges to first place with a 9-7 record. So he's 95-84. I'm 92-87. The coin is in the middle of us, going 7-9, 94-86. Cust wins the week at 11-5 and gets himself to 84-93. So he's only 11.
Needed it. Yeah, as you said last week, I needed to be opposite of you guys last week, and I just needed one of those weeks to give me like a half chance to, if I do it again, I'm right there.
Yeah, I look at your record; it's pretty shitty.
I need another week like this week. and then I'm right there.
Well, you only got 2 games on Geoff, unfortunately. You got 6 on me. You only got 2 on Geoff.
I'm not worried about you guys. I'm on fighting Mount 500. That's all I really care about.
I thought you were fighting the coin. You were going to say.
No, whatever. That's kind of the same thing, right? It's a 50-50. I just want to get over 500. That's the name of the game here. Whatever happens, else happens. That's my personal battle here.
You hit your teaser. The Chargers like push, but you still got 3 of the 4 with the push. So you get the win, 4-8 for the season. Good teaser. Actually, it's 4-9 because the opposite of the Pilgrim parlay actually would have hit. Did you know that?
I did not know that, but because the Cowboys game went over comfortably.
Yes.
But I suppose if you could have teased it the other way, could you have teased it the other way?
Yeah, it was 45.
And it would have hit?
Yeah, if it was 45-10.
Yeah, okay. So it was 55 points.
Yeah. So the other ones all would have worked. And we all hit our super locks, all 3 of us. So that was nice. 7-5, 7-5, and Geoff is 5-6 with a push in there. But San Francisco came through for him. Chicago came through Monday night for Tim, and Tennessee easily walked over Carolina, -3.5 in that game. Sunday, talking about the Titans, they are hosting the Indianapolis Colts. What do we got here for a line now? It's Colts by 1 in Tennessee. 42.5 is the over-under. The Colts are hanging on to they're ahead of Houston, which is kind of hilarious to think about, but I forgot they beat Houston earlier in the season. They have the 7 seed in the AFC right now. It's 6-5. Which is funny, Tim, because they do seem like the worst of all these teams.
Of all of them, you think they're worse than the Titans?
No, of all the teams that are like in play, the Titans are out of contention.
I thought you meant the division. You mean the teams fighting in playoff contention?
Yeah, but they're the one with the 7 seed.
I agree. I certainly agree with that statement.
And
yet, I don't see how I can pick Tennessee this week. I think I have to play the Colts.
I feel
that number's too short. The number's too short. Tennessee played well against either the worst or second worst or third worst team in the NFL, however you want to play that game in terms of what your opinion is. They still didn't win by a huge amount. I'm just going to take the Colts.
I'm going to take the Colts -1 on the road too, Geoff. They actually have a pretty, I don't want to say easy schedule. It's easy-ish. Like they're at the Bengals next week with Jake Browning. They're at home against the Steelers. They could win that game. They're at Tim's Falcons. They're at home against the Raiders and at home against the Texans to close the season. Like they're very live to make the playoffs.
Matchups here, boys. Matchups and Tennessee. Has Tennessee lost at home this year?
Yes.
Well, all they do is lose. They lose a lot. So I'm assuming that in their 7 losses, one of them came.
They're maybe like 4-1 at home.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to pick the Titans. The Colts can't stop the run for shit, and the Titans actually can stop the run with Simmons and Autry. So Les Titans at home.
It's looking like Jonathan Taylor might not play now.
Oh, Les Titans.
I don't really care.
Yeah, dealing with
I don't think that hurts the Colts or matters in any demonstrable
and
way.
I guess, is it a pick 'em or it's an underdog?
Yeah, the Titans are +1.
Oh, Pat, you know that's going to like put all the generic Vrabel underdog trends into play.
The Titans have covered 60% of their games as an underdog since 2021, the 7th highest rate in the league. Well, the Colts are sub 500 against the spread when they are favored over that stretch at 8-10. The way that I kind of see it, here's the biggest problem after someone who just, because I bet heavily on the Titans, I watched a lot of that game. Carolina has the worst run defense in the league, and the Titans could barely run the ball on them. That was cause for concern. Now, it is D. Hember now, so maybe that all changes with the flip of the calendar, but he looked kind of cooked.
That shouldn't be a surprise to anybody.
What?
That he's starting to lose his fastball. Why would it be? It'd be surprising if he wasn't going, if he hadn't fallen into such a situation. He scored 2 touchdowns, but he didn't play that great. I'm not surprised to hear that.
Yeah. Jeff's looking something up. I don't know what he's looking up here.
No, I'm just pondering Tim, like thinking he could tackle the guy and, talking about his old tires.
Well, there was a viral video that I saw that it was Gronk, Edelman, and someone else. And they were asked, could a random person get 1 yard in the NFL? And they're like, no, no, they can't. Gronk was like, I could barely get a
3
yard.
A play. Tim says he could get you to 4th and inches if you gave him 3 straight handoffs. Right?
I said it. I stand by it.
Stand by it.
Given the parameters that I stated that I would require, yes.
I feel like we need to put this into practice. We'll do it. Maybe we can do it next year. Well, we'll put you in gear and we'll bring you out to the university and you can try against their team. And when that doesn't work, we'll get like a peewee football team to see if you can get 10 yards on them.
What do you think is crazier? That he can tackle Derrick Henry or he thinks he could get 3 yards?
I think it's probably the averaging 3 yards a carry, to tell you the truth.
I know. I think like, at least with the other one, there's his shoelace. Like Derek can trip on a shoelace. Like you wouldn't. By the time your feet would move so slow. By the time you got the football, you'd be eaten.
If you say so.
Are you saying that he's not taking the dive handoff with like full speed, getting to the line of scrimmage?
I'm not really sure, but I just think his feet don't move fast and he would just be destroyed, as we all would. But we're not delusional enough to think that we're going to move.
Oh,
that we're going to move the sticks 3 yards.
You'd be running downhill with that ball.
I don't think Jeff's ever ran downhill in his life.
I won one race in my entire life. It was out of my dad's dick, okay?
Chargers and New England. Oh, boy. This is...
I love this game.
Really? Just like you subjected yourself to only watch the Giants and Patriots game last week?
I've decided that as long as the Patriots are humiliatingly bad, I'm going to soak in every single moment of it. I promised myself a long, long time ago that whenever they were really awful, I would really, really enjoy it. And I am taking full advantage of it.
I would have thought Belichick would never tank, but Mac Jones might have been tanking.
Is that why they pulled him?
I saw I bet the Patriots last week.
Oh, Geoff.
I did. I literally, it was Sunday morning. I had my Patriots -3. It was one of my bigger bets of the day.
Geoff.
Just here. And my wife's like, do you want to hold the baby? And I'm like, I can't hold the baby. I might cut him. I'm so sharp. I got the Patriots -3. Okay. Like, I don't know. I saw it move to 4.5 on Sunday morning. I was like, yeah, baby, let's go.
You deserve what you got.
What a disgrace. And the Chargers got to play them. I'm sure the Chargers will look good playing the Patriot. Or maybe not, actually. I don't have a clue. But this is like the nut low tier. This is the nut low tier that the Chargers do succeed against. So after correctly, and I know earlier in the year, like I was a bit picking against the Chargers, the last couple of weeks are not a bit. Like I implored the people closest to me in my life, Packers game, I don't know what's mega, but I certainly said you cannot bet the Chargers. That's a trap. And last week I begged, do not bet them. This is not the older versions of this team. But they'll beat the Patriots, who aren't even trying. Maybe the Chargers have stopped trying. That'd be if I found out the Chargers stopped trying, I'd probably feel better about what's happening. But they're trying.
I'm going to take the Chargers as well, -6 on the road. The Patriots, in games where they've been underdogs, Tim, at home, they're 1-7 outright in their past 8.
Not very good.
No.
Do you know, though, Tim, I proclaimed the Chargers lost like 40-0 to the Patriots.
Yeah,
as
greatest
one
game
of the
of the
greatest
season.
modern day Chargers games, and it might have led to Brandon Staley. So there are many battles that you think you are winning along the way, but it is a war that I continue to get fucking demolished.
Who are they starting at quarterback, or does that just not matter?
I heard someone saying Malik Cunningham could play, and they'd beat us.
That would be interesting.
If Belichick called his Navy Academy friends and said, give me like 7-12 plays for that dipshit Staley, I'm telling you, they could beat us. They could control the ball for 9.5 minutes. We'd punt, and they'd get the ball back and have it again for 6 minutes, and the game would just fly by. They could beat us if they had the guts to go Navy.
They could, because there'll be no fans to bore there, because their front-running fans are not showing up to Foxborough against the Chargers in a 2-9 versus a 4-7 game.
Dude, I had a
place
kid
is
a
gonna be
couple
half
weeks
empty.
ago. We got a lot of Patriot fans in our orbit. 2 of them have hit me up, like if I want to buy their tickets this week.
Yeah, front runners.
Yeah, like
they've
you
ever
could
been.
get face value for a Patriots Chargers ticket anywhere. A, you couldn't pay me to go to the fucking game. B, I'm not your mark.
Oh, you hate to see it. I'm teasing the Chargers down to a pick to the first part of the 6-point teaser.
Your record when picking the Chargers this year is what, like 0-8 though?
I don't know if it's that low, but it's
1
not
and
great.
6.
Yeah,
What-
it's not high. It's not
pretty-
good.
It's like real. It's like Carolina Panthers-esque though.
Yeah, it's not good. I agree with you on that.
Are you picking the Chargers against the spread then too?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so it's a round of Chargers. The last time this happened, we all had Detroit -8 on Thanksgiving. It was the last game
But
we all
do that a lot. We do that a lot.
We
the
don't-
Chargers can blow this game. That's got nothing to do with our shitty voodoo.
The-
the
the-
Chargers will do that on the road.
because the coin is on it with us too. Very rarely do all 3 of us agree and the coin agrees and that team covers the spread. Just almost never.
And I
happens.
will say, do you know what the chances are the Chargers can hire the right coach against like 9 other teams who are probably going to fire coaches this winter?
7%.
0% chance. 0.
So the same odds that Tim gave Minnesota of making the playoffs. So if Minnesota makes the playoffs, you might get lucky.
Yes, and now I always want to hit a home run. Like I always want to hire my own Belichick or
You see,
Tomlin.
you say that Tim's strategy might be the strategy for the Chargers. Hire Jim Caldwell.
No, Pat, that's what I'm saying next. I think we got to just hit like a single or a double, like and be thrilled about it.
Yeah,
If
don't
you
strike
Try to
out.
hit
Caldwell,
a double.
that
Try
would-
to hit a double. If it's a single, then we need to be satisfied. And the last time we were in the depths of hell, and I don't think we're in the depths of hell right now, but sometimes it feels like it. I feel the last time we needed to get respect and credibility back, we went like to the ultimate extreme and we hired Marty Schottenheimer, who brought us respect and credibility, and then we fucked it up on our own because the Greek children wanted to make their own decisions. So now I'm worried we will like go for we will fully be in on Belichick for like credibility because we don't know how to do anything else. Like we don't know how to make a decision, so we'll hire him, and I don't know that that's going to be a good thing. It's probably leaning towards not a good thing. I think it's not a good thing.
Jim Caldwell is now the special teams advisor for Carolina, Tim.
Who else is out there who's like a credibility hire?
Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
And I'm asking Tim. He's like a Rolodex in names, and like, do those guys
trying
even
to think,
exist
yeah.
at the moment?
There's not many of them, honestly, that I can think of right off the top of my head. Like Caldwell would
Like,
have
is
been
Dick
one of those
Vermeil
names.
dead?
I think he
Like,
is dead,
if
isn't
he
he?
isn't, if he isn't, and he may be, he would be very elderly.
He is, yes, he's alive, but he's 87 years old. Sounds perfect.
One time I tried to book Bam Bam Bigelow for Gabe. He was dead.
I keep telling you, people, he's 50. That was 58 years ago, and he's dead.
Why are you trying to get Bam Bam Bigelow?
I don't know. Gabe wanted a wrestler, and I don't know.
Bam,
Basically, Mr. Burns asking for the center fielder on his softball team who died during.
I
the
could
Civil
get
War.
him. I got him Trish Stratus the next day.
That's
But
good.
he
That's a
wanted-
good get.
Yeah, but that's like cheating. She's like a Toronto girl. There's some like back channels.
But you couldn't.
yeah, no, I'm
but
not-
what you're
I'm
saying
not
is that
putting that down.
you couldn't get Mordecai Three-Fingered Brown for Garion in his baseball show.
I think it was Jim Crichton, but yes.
No, Mordecai Brown was one of the starting players on Mr. Burns' softball team.
Yeah, I think now that you say it, I think you're right. He was.
That's going to be an interesting trivia question. I mean, it might be now, but in like a good 10, 15 years, like what was the Springfield nuclear power plant's starting lineup for that softball game? By the original starting lineup, not the one that actually played, because only Darryl Strawberry was left by the time game came around. Sosha was the catcher, right? Because he's the one who got.
Yeah, Mike Sosha was the catcher.
But he got poisoned
and
because
Ken
he kept.
Griffey played center field.
Sachs
Steve
played
Sachs
second
played
base.
second base.
Mattingly played first base.
Ozzie Smith was the shortstop.
Boggs played third.
Yeah, Boggs was third.
Who were the other two?
Yeah, he said Mattingly, Strawberry.
Who was the other
Steve
outfielder?
Sachs.
We said Steve Sachs.
Clemens was the pitcher.
Clemens was the pitcher.
Yeah, Griffey. It was Griffey, Strawberry. Who would have been the other?
Who's the other outfielder?
Now I'm just trying to think of
Canseco.
Oh,
Canseco was the other one.
He had to see it because he had to put the washer on the right hand side. That was
like my favorite
Such
baseball
a great
players.
joke.
All right, so Chargers for everyone. Detroit and New Orleans. Can Detroit get themselves off the mat here in this game as 4-point favorites at the Superdome? And I don't know who's playing on offense for the Saints because Michael Thomas is on IR. That I know he's out. I don't know if Olave is going to play. He has a concussion. Shaheed has a thigh problem. So they're down to Kirkwood, A.T. Perry, and Taysom Hill as receivers potentially in this game. That's not good for a team that struggles to score in the best of times. But it's this Detroit defense, which you pointed out, Tim, and came to fruition on Thanksgiving, despite the fact that we all picked Detroit, that they could give up points to anyone.
Yep, it's true. And New Orleans is anyone.
They are, and they move the ball exceptionally well between the 20s. Then they get inside the red zone, they just shit on their leg.
Yeah, I don't trust the Saints, though. I have to be perfectly honest. I don't trust the Saints enough to pick them in this spot when the spread is only 4. I think if you believe as I do that Detroit is a very competent team, and are strong. Maybe not the top 3 teams, but like squarely the 4th team in the NFC. This is a game they ought to go indoors on the road and win with all the extra rest. So I'm gonna take Detroit.
I'm gonna take Detroit too, Geoff, just mainly because I've been picking against the Saints all year long, and I think they're like 2-9 against the spread or something stupid like that because they're a terrible franchise with I don't know how to put this. Because people argued with me on the Saints earlier on in the year. It's like, well, they have all these skill guys. It's like, yeah, from like 4 years ago. Like, these guys aren't good anymore is the problem. Like, I don't even know how good Kamara is anymore. He seems like he's okay, but that's because they throw it to him 12 times a game every second week. Like, that's not doing them any good.
It seemed like a really foolish team. I know there's been some infighting this week. Kamara made some comments to the media. Dennis Allen made some comments back. For a team that runs as much as they do, I saw they've run a league low amount of play action snaps this year, so they should probably try doing that. I own Kamara in fantasy, and I love it. I love him. He's got
awesome.
the highest floor. His floor is so high. He does nothing, and he's still getting me the points. And I love their kicker too, Groupie from LSU. Kid drills him. If you play with kickers and you don't own like Tucker or Butker, the next best kicker to get is a kicker, like you want a high volume kicker, a kicker like on Denver or on New Orleans, these teams that unless they absolutely have to go for it, they will always kick the field goal. There's all these good teams, Detroit, Miami, 88% of the time, like they're going for it. They're not kicking you those field goals. That's my fantasy kicker rant. I also believe fuck fantasy kickers. My home league, I'm on like a campaign that, it's a long-term goal to get rid of kickers in my home league. I'm not in a rush, but it's a long-term goal, brick by brick, like Andy Dufresne, chipping away at that. What game are we talking about here? A couple dome teams. Round to Detroit again. I really hope New Orleans can do it, but Tim sort of laid it out. I just blindly feel like I can trust Detroit, which might be weird to say as the guy, like a lot of squares out there, was like, no, it's a new day. It's a new day in Detroit on Thanksgiving. Holy shit. Did we all lose those teasers? Oh my God. What they have, that's why the casinos, when they get torn down, they're just building new ones. Teasers like that on Thanksgiving. Oh my God.
Jeff, I thought of it. I think Dan Quinn would be the perfect Chargers head coach for respectability.
He's
That's
probably high on the
That's
list
the guy
of
right there.
comes.
He'll fix the defense that Staley couldn't fix. He's
Yeah,
respected.
but do I even want them to keep Kellen
He
Moore?
went to a Super Bowl. He can keep Kellen Moore on staff.
And you need to get an offensive coach.
You have Kellen Moore.
I don't know. We run for 1 yard a play. Like, I don't know. Like, look at the advanced running numbers on your computer. You don't even have to tell them to me. I guarantee you we cannot be higher than 29th in the league in running the fucking football. We are a disgrace. A lot of pigs on my team.
Now, is that a running back thing? Is that a scheme thing? Is that an offensive line thing?
All of it.
Okay.
All of it. They're all shit. Yeah, I mean, you wanted a contract? Did you see that guy running in the open space versus the Packers? He's fumbled the last 2 games.
It's funny. Speaking of that, Detroit actually has the highest adjusted line yards of any team, and almost 5 yards per carry in terms of how their offensive line is winning. Their power success rate is like 71%. Where are the Chargers? Now I'm curious.
Just keep scrolling, pal.
They are right with the Jets in Carolina.
What number's that?
5th worst.
Yeah, tied for 5th worst. So more like 3rd worst.
Hey, the Giants are worse. The Bucks are worse. The Jags are worse.
I care less. I promise you, I care less.
Doesn't
I've
sound
actually
like
never cared less in my life watching a game. We had a lovely lady here, and she wouldn't even have known that I was a fan.
Oh,
I mean that.
who was the lovely lady that you had at your house?
Like there was like a nurse. Like we had a third time around doing things differently. Okay, it's
Smart.
like R&R.
That's
like
pretty smart.
There's the first couple. There's a nurse in the evenings here now. Okay, folk. Just you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know. I'm like, maybe this woman will think I was crazy. She wouldn't even know. And I thought a team I cared for was playing. Like I didn't give a shit.
What are you doing on Saturday? What are you doing on Saturday this week?
I don't know.
I'm in
What's
Toronto.
Saturday?
I'm in Toronto this weekend.
Oh yeah, I'll hang with you. You want to hang? I'll hang.
Yeah, I was gonna go see.
up.
I was gonna go see Gary on Saturday, so maybe we'll like go somewhere, grab a beer or something.
Yeah. I'm 100% in.
All right, I'll let you know. So Detroit for all of us except the coin, going with New Orleans.
All right, I'm in a good mood.
There we are. Oh, Tim's team, Atlanta at the Jets. Both of Tim's teams.
Yeah, which one?
It's 2.5. We were way off on the spread guess on the Sunday night show. James was actually fairly close to it, but then he prices right at us after we went 7.5 and 7. So I guess the books are not. The total of this game is 34. That actually kind of tracks because the Falcons are going to run 8,000 times in this game. I weirdly like the Jets. This goes back to my AFC versus NFC type thing. Like the Falcons aren't good, and neither are the Jets, obviously. But for as much shit as we give the Jets' run defense, it isn't actually that bad. It's just it looks really bad compared to the pass defense, which is just exceptionally good. So I just think it's going to be close. It's a lot of field goals here, and you can move. I should say you can theoretically move the ball on the Falcons' defense. Whether the Jets and Tim Boyle can, this I do not know. Maybe they'll bring Simeon in and try to give him a whirl this time around. But I'll take the 2.5 at home. I mean, Tua looked the best of any quarterback in New York this season. And he, like you mentioned, he didn't even really have that good of a game, but it was the best any opposing quarterback has played against the Jets at MetLife. And you think Ritter's going to be any good? Not a chance.
I agree with Pat, and then I'll give Tim the stage. There's not really much else to say other than the Jets, like we show them fight when they are above their weight against a lot of good teams and good quarterbacks. Against this tier, they're in every game. So I will take these points.
Yeah,
I will take these points. They can handle the running attack of the Falcons, and I don't know, like their corners with Sauce and Hall, like they'll be fine. They'll cause Ritter fits.
Well, the biggest thing
third
here,
team in the road in December.
yeah, they're maybe they are the best team in the NFC South. That's not really saying much. So I guess the thing here, Tim, like if the Jets win this game outright, let's say, it's the perfect quarterback to be going against because Ritter's going to give them the ball on their own 10-yard line like 3 times.
I don't think so. I think Atlanta wins this game relatively easily. I think the fight is out of the Jets completely. Just out. I don't see it. I don't see any energy. I don't see any spark. You read the comments that people are making post game where they just seem completely beside themselves and checked out. I don't see the energy. I don't see anything there. This Atlanta team, top to bottom, has got such skilled players on that roster that they just need to click. This is a get-right game if there ever was one for the Falcons, and they're going to take full advantage. I like Atlanta here quite a bit.
I mean, this
Get
is
right.
Yeah, this is the same Atlanta team.
This is a launch pad game for this Atlanta Falcons team to sort of assert itself in terms of like they're going to be a playoff team. They could absolutely beat whoever they play in the first round in the playoffs.
Well, they're probably going to play Dallas.
I would say in Atlanta, I don't know. I wouldn't say Dallas is a guaranteed team in any playoff game.
Well,
You know what a Dallas playoff crowd would be like in Atlanta?
I think there would be 98% Falcons fans and 2% Cowboys fans.
What?
There's a lot of Falcons fans. For a
Hey, you wanna
Falcons
talk
team
about
that's in the
front
playoffs,
runners?
in
You
a,
want to
in
talk
a
about front
home-
runners?
Okay, but when you are hosting a playoff game, then that's when the front runners show up.
yeah,
No,
but
that's when the Cowboys would buy the tickets when it's a front runner town.
yeah, when it's Dallas by 9 in the first round or something like that. I don't know if they're going to galvanize the crowd in Atlanta
We'll
too
see.
much. So after beating the Saints last week, they won 24-15. It was their most impressive win of the year. And it's a game where the Saints could have scored 50 points and just kicked field goals and turned it
The game
over
that
every
should have
single
been
time.
on thanks.
Either
It should
way,
have been on
shut up for a
Thanksgiving.
second. Either way, before that, the 3 games before, they lost to the Titans, Vikings, and Cardinals.
Well, things happen. That they've underperformed, obviously, but I don't know. This Jets team just got nothing. They just don't have anything for them.
It's one of my favorite games of the week. Jets plus the field goal.
2.5.
Go ahead.
Actually.
Oh, 2.5. I'm still on the Jets.
Go ahead. Take them, tease them, have fun with them. I don't
really want to tease the Jets.
I warned you.
'cause-
Yeah, I would.
warned you.
I would rather bet the Jets to win than actually tease them up to 8.5.
Yeah. Yeah.
If that makes any sense, because I can see how it gets away from them very quickly. Like what? Like if Bijan breaks one on the first drive of the game, it's probably over for the Jets. It's just you need to keep.
Extra rest. I don't like. I get it. Tim's a beaten dog. I'm a beaten pop. We're abused.
Why are you beating dogs?
Like just our team. Like we just have no faith.
Didn't realize
I
you were
don't
the
believe
Michael
the
Vick of
players
this
are as
podcast.
empty as the fans. Those paychecks hit those bye week, those game checks come in. Like these guys get fired up to play football. Like they do. I think like we make too much of that. Like people can laugh at me for thinking the Chargers quit because I'm laughing at Tim for thinking the Jets have quit. Like they're not quitting.
I didn't say quit. Quit means you've given up, but there's a difference between giving up and just the fight is knocked out of you. Like you do your best, but you don't have it in you anymore. That's not quitting. That's just you're just exhausted. You're expended. They're different things.
With the extra rest here, I feel like you got some fight for a home game. Crazy stat. Walter Football. So trends don't matter, but this one was wild. I saw Jets 22-9 ATS at home following a home loss in their last 31 games. That's freaking wild.
Yeah, that is
That's
unusual.
wild. That's
Yeah.
a wild trend.
And the Falcons have covered just 3 of 12 games coming on in games that they've been favored in since the beginning of last season as well. They're better underdogs than favorites against the spread. Ooh, here's a fun one. Arizona and Pittsburgh. Oh, God.
Super Bowl rematch.
Yep. It's going to be the same quality of game, I bet. Steelers are favored by 5.5 at home in this game. Now, we're all going to take Pittsburgh because, as Tim, you pointed out on Sunday, that Pittsburgh just continues to cover whatever the spread is at the time of the show. Pittsburgh will cover it every single week. By the time we get to game time, it's always way different, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles, doing the show on a Tuesday evening. I'll take Pittsburgh. Arizona's not good. Like, basically, Kyler had a good first week back, and it was like, okay. In the 2 games since, he's fancy Zach Wilson.
Would you be comfortable taking Pittsburgh in Eliminator? Like I'm deep into one. I know I left ours in week 3, but I'm deep into one. There's like 70 people left.
Do you have
Arizona
Tampa
and Pittsburgh and Tampa are my highest point spreads.
I would
left.
take Tampa.
So I would take Tampa in a heartbeat over Pittsburgh personally.
Yeah, so that's the decision I'm going to make. I'm with Pat though on this game. Oh, Kenny Pickett's a winner. Like maybe we should try to trade Herbert for Pickett and we could win some football games, right?
Jack,
I don't really love this game, but we're going to take Arizona. We're taking Arizona. We're bringing them into Pittsburgh in December. They didn't even show up to play the Rams, so I'm actually exponentially more confident they're going to show up to try to play football this week. But yeah, the desert to Pittsburgh in December, I'm just blindly laying the 5.5.
They just can't stop anyone on the ground. Pittsburgh's going to run the ball 40 times like they did last week, and it's going to be super successful.
I have nothing to cap this game with. I said I was picking the Steelers against the spread until such time as they don't in the show. Forced to pick. I would forced it. If these restrictions weren't on me, I would certainly lean Arizona, but I'm not going to play that game. Taking Pittsburgh, and we're sticking with them.
It would be better if Kyler could force the ball down the field, but outside of that one Rondell Moore pass against the Texans 2 weeks ago, it's basically what Justin Fields did on Monday night. It's a bunch of passes at the line of scrimmage. That's it.
And this is a big game, Pat, for the futures community. I think myself is one of the many who maybe it's the most popular under preseason future on the board on the Arizona 4.5s. If they lose this, they have a bye next week.
What if they win that though?
And they have some really hard. They play Philly and San Fran still. So this is it to me.
Yeah,
get this, it's over.
Yeah, because then they would have to win 3 more games. Yeah, if they lose this one, they have 49ers at the Bears, at the Eagles, at home against the Seahawks. They'd have to go 3-1 down the stretch in order to hit that over.
Yeah. So, and I'm not the only one. I know that's super, super popular preseason total bet.
All right. So round of Pittsburgh, coin included for this one at 5.5. Again, kind of worrisome. Miami and Washington. The Dolphins are favored by 9.5 in Washington. I don't know. This feels. Is Washington going to.
Who do you like more, Washington or the Jets? If we're just line comparative of a week ago.
I actually think the Jets are a better team, but.
Because the defense?
Yeah, because the defense could theoretically win you the game and keep the game within a field goal. Then a weird break happens. I think that the Jets would have a better chance to beat the Dolphins, but I might think because Howell throws 8,000 times a game and they can move the ball on offense, that the Commanders might have a better chance to backdoor this spread. The Jets don't have that ability.
And that's a great point. To everything you said, it should have been at the halftime 13-10 Dolphins, right? That's where we were going in a game that make one more weird play and the Jets are in it or winning. So, yeah, I actually agree with your assessment entirely, Pat,
But we just watched Washington. Howell threw for over 300 yards. I think Brian Robinson had 2 touchdowns, and they completed 80% of their passes. And they lost by 35 points.
And Miami has made a living this year beating – your schedule's your schedule. But when they play these lower tier – the Raider game is an exception, and maybe that result will scare people. But you could argue the spread isn't high enough. In some respects.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's a good thing, though, because when I watched that Raiders game, I watched every snap of that Raiders game. The Dolphins should have won by 45 points and didn't. It was just one of those weird Raiders things. And it almost looked like they were going to do it against Kansas City last weekend, too. And then the dam burst, and all of a sudden Kansas City just started scoring points.
You said it's 9.5?
Yeah, it's 9.5.
Anything under 10, I'm taking this Dolphins team against a shitty opponent at this point in time still.
I'm with you. I'm going to take Miami as well. How about you, Tim?
I am taking the Dolphins, and I am teasing the Dolphins down.
The coin's taking the Dolphins. We're all on the same page. This chances we all go 13 and I guess it would be 13-3.
Please,
chances we
Miami
all go
can't mess this game up.
Oh, you're really using the curse on Miami now, are you?
No, not at all. Really happy
How was
that
the weekend with your dad after that failed Mary?
Yeah. He just sent me a text that said, ouch, after that. And then I texted back, I don't know that I'm going to watch the second half. And then there was no more comments till the next day. And he was very happy and excited.
You know what's so pathetic, Tim? I was so scarred. That play scarred me. The Chargers had a Hail Mary at the end of the half.
I was thinking about it. I'm thinking about it now every time.
You're even when the ball's in the air, you're An interception would be an okay ending here. Like after watching what happened to you guys, I'm like, interception, please.
Like I tweeted out, like, yeah, you know what? You see something new every day. What can I even say? Like,
That's horrible. That's not
I've been through so much this year that's so unnecessarily cruel that I am owed so much from the football gods next year that anything short of an exceptional season, I will feel very shortchanged. I am due great and marvelous things next season, and I am here to claim them come next season.
You're
Not
so
saying
fucked.
I'm not earned that. I have earned them.
Do you think
They
you're
are
getting
mine.
them? Do you actually think you're going to get them?
Probably not.
Thank you.
No, probably not. But
Just-
I've earned them more than anyone.
Sure.
I deserve after the year I've had
Why-
to go through. They're mine. They are mine by right, and I should have them.
Well,
But they
it
doesn't
probably
work
won't
like
give it to me.
that.
I mean, you're not going to enjoy your Christmas gift when Rodgers comes back that week and like blows his Achilles out again.
No, he's already shifting the ground again today on McAfee's show.
What's he
Talking
saying
about
now?
how well the Jets, the Jets being in contention of the playoffs is part of the factor of him when it comes to coming back. Yeah, he was on the field when Jalen Phillips tore his Achilles there in the game. And I was like, we're just going to keep. You know what?
So,
Whatever, man. I kind of don't even care.
When it gets down and he doesn't play a snap, can you just concede that we were right all along?
Well, you're going to have been all right all along, absolutely. But
Okay.
I'm not going to concede until it happens.
Okay,
But yes.
that's fair.
But yeah, fair enough. And if it does, like I said, I am owed so many good things next year. Doesn't mean I'm going to get them. I'll probably pick this team to go 4-13 next
Dude.
year. I'm just going to set my expectations so darn low.
What do good
And
things
put
mean?
my hopes-
What do good things mean? Look at our friend Paul.
I'm owed.
Look at Bills fans. They thought they were finally getting good things. And yes, they got them in a sense that the team was better and improved, but it really actually led to probably more painful heartbreak and more disappointment than just being a fucking shitty 6-10 team.
But it's
And I
not just
don't
being a
mean
bad
that
team.
to be rude. I just mean that like when our expectations get up, because the expectations get up,
Yeah.
that crash hurts so much more, man. It hurts so much.
Tell
more.
me, I had to deal with it in week 1, Jeff, in about 3 seconds of my season beginning. I know, man. But look, I'm going to project them to do really poorly next year. And I'm going to set no expectations. Even though I am owed a Super Bowl appearance at minimum. I am owed that. I'm just going to set my sights super low. I'm going to expect that once again, the world is just going to not give the just desserts that I deserve in the football world. And I'm just going to have to accept that, even though I am owed at least a conference championship.
So you're going to think you're owed a conference championship. The schedule's going to come out and you're going to pick 4 wins. I don't believe it.
4 or 5 wins. I'll pick them.
I don't believe
Why
you.
not?
You're lying.
Why not? What's the point
Well,
of picking them to win a bunch of games?
I
when it
know
never
you,
happens?
and
yeah,
you're
but,
lying.
yeah, but you did this last year when you're like, well, they'll either go 2-15 or 17-0, and then you claimed credit for getting them right. But Paul had something to say.
I would argue, as a Bills pain specialist over here, I would argue you had it kind of easy, Tim. Because, at least the Band-Aid was ripped off really fast, right? Aaron Rodgers blows his Achilles, just like, this season's over. All hopes go out the window. Anything that we do seems okay. It's like the Bills is, week in, week out, for the last, 15, 20 years of my life, just, pain. Like, being up 10 against Philly last week, and then them hitting a 59-yard field goal in horrible conditions. It's just I've seen that loss so many times.
I don't want to be rude to Paul. I don't want to be rude to
off.
Paul. I don't want to be rude to Paul, but the entire world essentially told him that his team will overcome that 13-second moment. That they're good, they'll be fine, they'll be right back. They never,
Yeah.
they didn't get
never
back.
will.
They can't get back. And they'll think about 13 seconds forever. The same way I'll think about my fucking
LT
game in
sitting on the
Jacksonville or a
sideline.
Marlon McCree fumble forever, until you finally get it.
And the reason why we're losers, there's 22 seconds left after that field goal. McDermott, even though Josh Allen has been cooking, he decides let's kneel on it. Let's go to overtime. Winners win. We lose horribly.
Now, if you predict them to go 4-13 next year, Tim, and they win a game, while we're doing the live Sunday show, and I rattle off the schedule, and you pick them to win the rest of their games like you did the rest this year earlier. Now, are you going to be held to that standard? Like, which prediction counts?
That would be pretty unhinged of me. I wouldn't do that. I'm really going to go into next year with an extremely different mindset. Because I'm tired of the pain. I don't need it. I would rather just say, to heck with it. We're just going to lose these games. And if we win, they look great. I'm happy about it. But, like, I'm done with expectations. I am owed something so much greater than the expectations I can reasonably ask for. I'm just going to ask for nothing. You know what? Let them surprise me.
It would be so much easier to not have been obsessed with a sports team and just like loved movies or like tuning a guitar or something. There's no losing.
So you could be me.
Well, there is losing if you like movies, because then one of your favorite directors puts out a trash film and you feel, down about it.
There's no way with a healthy Rodgers you pick them for any less than 10 wins next year.
Healthy for what? For 3 games until something else happens to a 41-year-old?
You were talking about him coming back and
this year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
coming back this year and leading you to the playoffs and everything coming up to him. What happened?
Well, nothing's ever going to come up me.
When
and
do you go into DEFCON Dolphins mode?
We're there.
You're there?
There's no one left now. Buffalo has done themselves in.
Yeah, and they're like the 5th, 6th, 4th best team in the league. So you got to be worried that it can all happen, right?
Yeah, our focus is now fully and exclusively on what's going on in Miami. Don't you worry.
It still sounds like it's on New England.
Oh, it will never not be on New England. Never, ever, never not be on New England. I don't know. The gap between New England and everybody else is so deeper and much larger than you could possibly fathom.
Denver and Houston is the last game of the early slate. It's probably the best game of the early slate. The Texans are now favored by 3.5 at home against the surging Broncos. Do you think it would count as a reverse curse, Geoff, if Sean Payton wins Coach of the Year?
Yeah, Sean Payton, Coach of the Year.
But see, I gave up. It's a little different because, like, once I got what I needed, I just gave up. I couldn't have cared less.
You were talking. I don't know. I think this
once I got what I needed, I stopped caring.
The narrative has really shifted here now that you're downplaying it. Now that they're winning games,
Geoff will concede. After I got what I needed, and they went on by, I said that day I washed my hands of the whole thing. Did I not?
Yeah, but I don't know. It's always hard to tell with you.
I stopped caring
with you.
Oh, I lied, by the way.
Humiliations that I needed.
This is not a late game. This is an early.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, there's
another 2:00 game.
There's another. Is there?
Carolina.
Oh, Panthers and Carolina. Okay, we'll do that one after the break then, I guess. Denver and Houston. Like I said, it's 3.5. I actually like Houston. You have to like Denver. You said on the Sunday show, you said they were the better team and they would be favored on a neutral field. And I think the spread tells us that is not the case.
Yeah, I mean, opened at what was 2.5, so a complete pick 'em between those two teams. And now it's moved towards the Texans. Yeah, I got to take Denver here. I think Denver's a better team.
I mean, Denver runs one play on offense, Geoff. It's very effective. Actually, they run 2. They run screen passes and Russell fake screen pass run.
I apologize for my one-track mind. The Chargers haven't played the Broncos yet. So the Broncos playoff push could be pretty real here. Or maybe the Chargers will stop it. Unlikely. I'm taking Houston. But full credit to Denver. Full credit to Sean Payton. There's a culture change there. They win ugly, but it doesn't matter. Like, even if Buffalo gifted them a game, I am in no position to criticize or give a shit. What I would do for a quality win, like winning in Ralph Wilson, or what I would do for a quality win, like beating the Chiefs this year. I can't beat the Packers or the fucking Titans. So it's remarkable. Full credit. They're rolling. Don't want to see them make the playoffs because I'm a selfish brat, but that doesn't mean I can't be impressed with what's happening.
It's an awkward matchup Because obviously, since like the blowout games when they got ran all over, their run defense has been a little bit better. Their pass defense has been better. Denver, that is. But just even to look at Houston last week, they were so close last week. And they do commit an outrageous amount of defensive penalties. And maybe that just keeps drives moving for Denver. But their run defense is actually quite good in Houston. And if Denver can't continuously run the ball, like I just don't think they got it in the passing game. Like unless they're running screens or just throwing like up chucks to Cortland Sutton, hoping to get lucky, they got nothing.
But Houston is still pretty sketchy for as fun and entertaining an upside as there is. I mean, they lost to Carolina. They barely beat the Cardinals a couple weeks ago. They had trouble versus the Bucks. So if this is a like last second field goal game, close game, like I'm not shocked at all, even though I think Houston should clear that number.
Yeah, you know what? That's actually a really good point. That they've struggled against these like bottom tier to like average type teams, and Denver's probably a little bit better than all of the teams that you just mentioned. That maybe I'm dead wrong here. That the 3.5 is the play because this is probably just is a field goal.
It is a weird spot where, geez, every game Denver wins. I feel like the last few games, Denver's at a game where it'd be like, I kind of wish I could be fading both of these teams this week, just based on how the last game for both of them ended, or Denver's run just having to end, but they keep getting matched up in these weird games. I don't know, man. Denver's onto something at the moment. I'm not exactly thrilled about it, other than maybe I get a last place schedule out of it.
Well, the one thing I'd be concerned about here.
I'm embarrassed.
Well, the one thing I'd be
embarrassed.
Okay, that's fine. Like
I feel like a dad.
We're done. We're done. Okay, we're done with the Chargers now. Like it's too much.
Embarrassed.
It's too much fucking Chargers. Like we've spent like 60 minutes of the show so far on the Chargers. So we're talking about Denver at this point.
Denver's great.
I wouldn't consider them great. Would you, Tim?
I would not consider
them
won
5
great.
games in a row, right?
Which is impressive. Which is something
very impressive. Denver's very impressive,
remarkable.
Sure.
No, that they've won 5 straight games, coming off what they were coming off, is impressive. I think they're equal with the Texans, maybe a smidge better, but they're pretty equal. I think the 3.5 is great value. At 2.5, it's less value, but 3.5, there's real value on taking. You're asking Houston to win by margin. I don't see it. I think you got to play Denver here.
Is there a cool tax on Houston right now? Like the fun up and coming cool tax?
I am curious about it because this spread doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't understand how the people can come in and comfortably say that Houston is decisively better than the Broncos to give them that edge.
And isn't this one of the easiest road trips a team like Denver could make?
Yeah, I mean, Houston and Denver is not that. I mean, it's not the easiest, but it's not as bad as many of them are.
Like outside of division range,
or West Coast, California, NFC games. Yeah, it's definitely one of the easier ones. Anyway, I just think a lot of things.
Pat, do you think there's a Texans tax at the moment because they're like fun and cool, or that's like a made up thing?
It might not be a made up thing, but I think that people do actively want to back CJ Stroud, and I'm one of them.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant.
Yeah.
And at 2.5, that's very defensible. At 3.5, I don't know.
I don't know if the Broncos are in that category of some of these other teams because the Texans' pass defense is quite bad, but the Broncos' passing offense is also quite bad. That if Houston can just jump up in this game, it's going to be a dig up situation for Denver. And that's not really a situation that we've seen Denver in all that much recently, where they've been playing, from ahead or very close with teams. They haven't had to come back in any of the games. And and it was like when they played the Bills, for example, like the Bills defense is terrible. So they were able to move the ball pretty effectively there, but they played up most of that game or within a score most of that game. Like they haven't, earlier on in the season, they kept getting behind in games and they couldn't do anything about it. Houston does seem like a fast strike team that if they just get up 14-0 in the second quarter, like it could just be over.
Yes, but I don't know that Houston is.
They're a big strike team.
They are a quick strike team, but it's just hard to gauge of like, yes, Denver's defense is like clearly improved. They gave up 70 points in a game in September, and here they are But they've also been on this run of like really sloppy football games. Like every game they seem to have played in the last month has just been like a slot fest, and that has suited them. And I guess to your point, Pat, like their abilities or what they're capable of with their quarterback. But I don't know, like if Surtain can take away 40% of the field, maybe the rookie's in trouble.
Well, is he going to be? That's the one thing I'll see if we get Noah Brown back for this game, and if Schultz is healthy. Like if those two guys are injured, then it could end up being a real problem. But the Texans just have a wealth of receiving threats to throw to, and that really. If they want to sacrifice Nico Collins on Surtain or Robert Woods or Tank Dell or whoever it is, well, they still have like 3 or 4 other options here, and Stroud has, I mean, even last week during the loss, it was very impressive to watch Stroud kind of look like old Russell Wilson and old Aaron Rodgers, where he has this gift to be able to extend plays. He's not looking to run down the field. He's looking to buy that time with his legs and try to find someone open way down the field. And that's what would concern me if I was Denver, that you're kind of playing the younger, better version of what you have with Russell Wilson right now. Like, Denver, during this 5-game winning streak, has generated 15 turnovers. They're plus 12 in the turnover margin in that time. Like, that's just not a sustainable number. Like, what happens if just neither team turns the ball over? Then the Texans are going to roll them.
Yeah, they've made the game sloppy, and I guess
and
that's
slow.
part of it.
And slow. Like, their drives take forever. And Houston comes in with one of the better rushing defenses in football. You can pass all over them, but Denver can't pass.
Yeah, I'm with Houston, even though I've talked up Denver plenty. If they can avoid a slop fest, then they should win and cover.
Well, that brings us to the midway point of the show, which means it's time for a mini version of Cust Corner.
Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. He's got the hottest takes with the highest stakes. He should be president of the United States, but it's Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner, Cust Corner.
So, friends, if you're like me and you enjoy fast food items, one of the complications that you find if you like to eat your stuff in the car while it's still hot, as I often do, is that the menu is very cut down. There's a lot of things you just can't order because it makes an absolute mess in the car and is just an unpleasant experience. For example, if you can't buy a Big Mac and eat it in the car, lettuce goes everywhere. You can't buy these like new sandwiches at Wendy's or whatever that have the crispy onions, because the second you open that burger, they're going everywhere. So I'm here to say that they should take into consideration finding a way to craft either new burgers that are car eat friendly, or provide things to modify the burgers or items in such a way that they can be enjoyed by people who like to consume them in the car after they purchase them. Like maybe the lettuce could be on the side, not shredded, but like be a whole on the Big Mac so that you could eat it without it going everywhere. Maybe the crispy onions could be, larger so they don't fall out as easy, or they could be offered to you on the side and you could add them as you wanted. It just seems to me there's a large marketplace of people who like to buy fast food items and will eat them in their car while they're still hot. And there's just so many items and things that are just off the menu for you. You ever try to eat chicken nuggets and dip them in the car? It's very complicated. It is not an easy procedure. It can get messy. Your hands get all greasy. It's no fun. We need to make a big step forward towards catering to people who like to have fast food in their car and would like not to see the menu be cut down essentially by half, if not more. When you just see things on the menu, like a sandwich that's really saucy, and you're like, well, I can't have that. I want that. But the only way I'd be able to enjoy that would be as if I went into the store, because it would make a mess in my car. I feel very strongly about this.
Don't distracted driving. Like, why are you doing that?
Well, I'm not driving while I'm eating.
Then why don't you just go into the restaurant and eat?
Hold on. Well, so what you're saying?
Parking the car and eating it in the parking lot.
What are you talking about?
Just go inside.
I don't drive while I
sit
eat.
at a table.
No. No, I want to listen to my podcast.
You can listen to your podcast. You can bring your phone and your ear pods in and eat.
No, I don't want to do that.
I do that all the time.
No. I will go and order from the drive-thru and then park in a parking spot and eat there.
Do you know what's more embarrassing than Table for One Al Borland?
What?
He's alone in the parking lot, Al Borland.
I don't agree with that. That's very comfortable. There's a lot of people that do this. It's not just me, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's weird. Go
So-
inside. They got a table.
See, you're out behind the fast food restaurant, just dummying burgs in the car, or like along with like the people smoking crack out back.
No, not out back. Like you just in the store parking lot.
But okay, but here's the thing: I don't understand how any of this is a problem then, because it would be a.
It makes a mess in the car when you eat it.
You take the wrapper off the sandwich.
You don't have a table. You don't have a table in front of you.
Tim, how sloppy do you eat? You take the wrapper
Things
off.
fall
Hold
out.
on. You take the wrapper off of the sandwich. You lay out the wrapper to collect everything that might fall off of it. It falls into that. You wrap it up and put it away.
No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Let's talk about McDonald's, for example. That Big Mac is not wrapped in a wrapper. It's in an awkward cardboard container, which half of it's being used for your fries. The other half is flapping there, and stuff keeps falling into it. It's very, very unpleasant.
Do you not use your cup holder for any of this? Because when you were mentioning the nuggets, that was always the move. Just put the nuggets in the cup holder and just
The
boom.
drink goes in the cup holder.
You have 2 slots.
Yeah, but you can't put nuggets in the cup holder and then where are you gonna put where the dipping sauce is gonna go?
You can eat nuggets without dipping sauce, pal.
Well, you can.
I mean,
but
if
who
you're
does?
not
Very few.
driving, you can fucking hold it if you want to. Like this just sounds like someone who's wildly uncoordinated. I thought you were
I'm
talking
not
about like
doing this.
speeding
I've
down the
seen
highway
these
like
people.
eating burgers.
No,
then you just go to
See
Wendy's and
these
you get
people
JBCs
eating
and
in their
just dummy them
cars
all.
in the parking lot, like beside the restaurant.
we exist. We exist, just like
It's
you didn't
so
believe
weird.
anybody
to me.
would
It
eat
is
over
so
a sink.
weird.
I mean,
You're like afraid of people.
anyone that tragic who would have to do that, they don't need to cater to because they're never losing that customer.
Yes.
Good
No, I'm not
point,
saying.
Pat.
No, I'm not saying
Good
they're going
point.
to lose the customer.
Then why do
I'm
they care?
saying it makes me sad that when I go through the drive-through at a place, I know there are certain items that I'd like to purchase that I can't purchase because to purchase them would mean that I will probably make a mess in my car.
So why don't
Why don't you just go in?
why
If
can't
there's
you-
something
but
you really
why
want to eat,
can't
why don't you
go
just go in?
inside and
I don't want to get out of my car. I don't want to do that. I want to stay where it's warm and I can listen to my podcast the way I want to listen to it.
Do they make you
And I'm
eat in the?
comfortable.
Do they make you eat in the freezer if you go inside the fast food restaurant? Like is it
No,
freezing in
no,
there?
there's nothing- no, just there are times where I don't want to get out of my car. I would rather stay in my car. And as Geoff has noticed,
then
I'm
you
not
don't have
alone.
the right to complain about how they're serving their food. It's not meant to be eaten in a car.
Well, then why do they have drive-throughs? Obviously,
Be-
people are going to be eating them in the vehicle
Yeah, so you could get it fast.
and eat it fast.
But it's not like the food isn't designed to like keep the car clean.
But the problem is that there is a preponderance of people out there who are eating in their cars.
What would you say the
And there
percentage
are-
is of people who go to the drive-through? Percentage of people that order from the drive-through, then park and then eat that food.
Maybe 25%.
You think 1 in 4 people is going through a drive-through, parking and eating the fucking food?
I would imagine so.
Come on,
I do it every time.
It's just so weird.
How is it weird?
Well, firstly, you say you want your friends with the people inside.
I said I'd like to be friends. With
Well,
people.
you can't be friends with people inside if you never go in.
No, but it's a different dynamic when I'm usually going to a fast food. I'm usually going there in the evening, and people aren't hanging out there in the evening. You don't make friends. That's more of like a morning retired crew. You know what I mean? You know exactly what I mean.
This is crazy. I don't understand
know
how.
what you mean.
I don't understand how you could be so sloppy in your car eating all this stuff.
It's not my fault. Stuff falls out of the sandwich.
But you're
you go to
not even
Subway.
moving. You're not even
Yeah.
operating the vehicle.
Yeah, like if you
It's
were
like
driving, I could see it. I mean, it still wouldn't be that big of a deal for like coordinated people, but the fact that you're parked and not moving, this should not be a problem.
No, but it's like Subway. You pretty much have to order a wrap in the drive-through because that just
is
makes a mess
not
everywhere.
True.
And you eat the wrap. You get Subway, then go to your car and eat it.
I'll go through the Subway drive-through.
But I don't understand. Like,
So
Maybe it's raining and I don't want to get wet. Maybe it's
But what-
cold and I don't want to
but
get out of
maybe
my
it's
car.
not-
is that actually a problem? Because it sounds like you do it every day of the year.
Subway has
No,
drive-through.
There's like 2 around.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen them.
neither, Paul.
There's actually quite a few. There's more than you think, actually.
I mean, that also seems like the worst.
Seems like the most annoying
Subway
drive-thru.
Yeah, Subway drive-through seems like the worst drive-through.
Yeah,
It's
I'd
a drive-thru.
rather be in hell.
So
than
many
in line
ingredients
for
that you have
Subway
to tell
drive-thru.
people. Like, it just seems like you should go up to the counter and deal with
It's
it.
a drive-through designed for people who know what stuff Subway has and know exactly what they want.
Is there a sign that says that?
No, it's one of these things where, like, if you don't know the type of vegetables they have, then you have to ask, and it's a thing, and it would take. Like, I know exactly what they've got. I know exactly what I want.
This seems very strange because you were just pointing out on the Thanksgiving show that we did that you get like anxiety if you have to make an order too quickly, but now you just know what you're going to get every time.
When I go to Subway, I know all the vegetables. I don't have to guess as to which they're not coming out with any new vegetables. I know exactly which combo of vegetables I want on every. I don't change my combo of veggies
Ever?
on any sandwich.
Really? Like you
No,
have
I
the
like
same.
it.
You have
I
the
only
same.
like what I like.
Oh, you have the same veggie combo for every different type of meat? That's strange.
I do every single one. I want the spinach, and I want the lettuce, and I want the cucumber.
You get
and I want
spinach.
the
Hold
pickle.
on. You get spinach and lettuce?
Yeah, why not? They'll
Yeah,
give
but
it to you.
who would dress like a steak and cheese the same way they dress a turkey?
That's what I'm thinking.
Me. I would. I'm that person. I want the same veggies on all of them.
Okay. So you can go eat it in your car.
And I would eat it in my car. I have eaten subs in my car, although they are usually better inside.
In the States, Tim, they are more conducive. Like, I know In-N-Out like gives you this box that's
Yeah,
like,
it's car people. There are people eat in their car, Jeff. I know you don't, maybe.
Yeah, I've heard
Well,
one.
no,
I've,
I'll
I've,
eat my car.
Jeff, I've
I
heard
will-
1 in 4 people eat in their cars, parking in the parking lot.
I will eat in my car and I will make a mess in my car and have to clean it because I'm eating on the go. What I will never do is go through that drive-through, park my car in that lot, and sit in my car. That I will not do.
That just seems like
I
a
will
hassle.
I will enjoy
not-
the
how is it a
indoor
hassle?
experience.
Because you just complained about it being too messy, and then you can't order what you want.
What it means is that you have to order car friendly.
Well,
choices.
that sounds like it's a hassle. You're not getting
Tim,
something.
do you know what I love to do if I'm going to sit there? I'll pre-order on my app. I'll pull up. I'm already in the queue. I'll sit there. I'll put my earpods in and I'll sit with my food at one of their tables and with the fountain machine for my refills. And I will enjoy my lunch listening to my podcast.
And
Like,
I
what
think
about
that's
the
a
refill?
perfect-
Did you
that's
get out
a-
of your car for a refill?
No, I usually don't get any refills.
So you exactly. And then you
I don't.
litter your ice either.
No, I don't. But you can. Anyway, I appreciate. There's nothing wrong with going and eating a joint. That's great. That there's not. I've done that on occasion too. But I just feel more comfortable not having to get out of my car, not having to.
Don't
do
you
that.
feel restricted in your car?
No, I take the
wheel
seatbelt. I take
is-
when I'm parked. I take the seatbelt off.
Yeah, but I don't know. I've never sat at my dinner table and put like a steering wheel in front of me and then tried to eat.
It is a little bit restrictive, but there's also a comfort level to it as well. Like I'm in my surroundings. I know where I am is clean. I know who's been touching my steering wheel.
See, the thing about
my stuff.
McDonald's is I'll agree with Trump. Like their procedures and practices, like it's
Their
probably a lot
food is.
cleaner.
Their
than-
food is, but like I don't know who's been touching that table or that bench or.
Yeah, but they got a protocol. They got like a checklist.
Yeah, I would almost wager that McDonald's is cleaner than your car. When was the last time you cleaned your car?
Clean up. Well, it's certainly like the steering wheel. I clean it every day.
It's probably a
clean your
dusty
steering
ball
wheel?
of gum.
Hold on, you clean
Well,
your
I
steering
put like
wheel?
Purell on it. I put Purell on it every day.
Really, all this
You're
comes down
relevant.
to is Tim being a germaphobe.
Yeah, Tim's a germaphobe and afraid to interact with society.
I think a lot of
I'm
people, a lot
interacting.
of like blue collar workers, like construction workers, probably eat in their car, particularly in the winter and colder climates and stuff like
Because
that.
they're going back to
they
work.
do.
Because they're going back to work.
They don't have the same issues as Tim because they're like tough men that are not like worried about spilling a little bit of lettuce on their floor of their
A little
truck
bit of
or-
lettuce. I challenge you to eat a Big Mac in your car and tell me if you
I
don't find
challenge
lettuce
you
in
to
the seat.
eat a crispy
weeks later.
onion.
I wouldn't.
I challenge you to eat a
I'd
crispy
either bring
onion.
it home or I'd
Jar.
eat it in the store. Like
Bring
I
it
don't
home
know.
when it's ice cold by the time you get it home.
You can just be like
You
a real
live pretty
person
close to
and
McDonald's,
eat and
don't
drive.
you? Maybe you should go to the McDonald's closest to your house rather than
They
skipping
keep
over
messing
three
the
towns.
orders up. They keep messing
That's
the
part of your
orders up. I
issue,
don't
too.
trust them.
Okay, give us an
I don't
example
trust
of how they've messed up your orders more than once.
I can give you the names of other people for whom they've had this exact
Well,
experience.
I asked you, give me 2 separate occasions of how they messed up your order and tell me how they've messed it up.
I've not been given things with stickers when there's stickers available. I have not gotten the right amount of hash browns. There's been things. And the reputation precedes it.
So they didn't give you enough hash brown. How many hash browns are you ordering, by the way?
Well, it depends. But Geoff encouraged me to buy 2 at a time during McDonald's because he said it was the plus EV move.
I really think that you need to really hunker down that maybe you eat too much fast food.
No, I really don't outside of like competition.
Oh, did you win anything? Like, did they do the draws for your Monopoly?
You are well aware that I didn't, because if I had won, you would know. I would not be hiding
I don't
that
know
from
if they
you.
did the draws.
I assume they're done, and I assume I didn't win.
Maybe they haven't notified the winners.
I'm sure that they have.
You should tweet them.
No, I am not going to do that, Jeff. Why don't you do that? Why don't you tweet them and ask? Why do I have to do it?
Because he's not concerned.
I don't understand. Now I'm upset that I'm sitting here feeling judged for sitting in my car and eating. I don't understand why I should be judged for this.
Well, it sounds like something a psychopath would do.
We're judging you for putting Purell on your steering wheel every single day.
Because your hand touched.
You're the only
goodness
person.
knows what?
Oh, come on, get.
No. My grandmother does the exact same thing.
She also puts it on her fruit.
She also puts Purell on her bananas.
She's also Maybe you should stop taking some.
Yeah, maybe
advice.
she's not like the anchor of advice here.
Like germs are not the worst thing that you could possibly have. Like having access to some germs actually makes you like immune to those things moving forward.
Yeah, when you're an infant, so you can build an immunity, maybe, but not when you're a grown adult.
Oh, I never really get sick.
No, Tim, I see it. Like, I see what you do, and it is kind of common, but I do not understand wanting to make a mess. If you are in a rush and you need to eat on the go, like, I get that. I respect it.
If you were in a rush, you wouldn't stop in the fucking parking lot and eat. You'd eat while you drove.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So,
and
you see, but I never understand making a mess of your own car while stationary in the parking lot beside the restaurant that you have purchased the food from.
I'm comfortable where I am. That's why.
It doesn't sound like it. You're complaining about it.
No. What I'm complaining about is that my menu selection.
And then in the summer,
limited.
you got to keep the AC going or the heat. Like, this is a very negative environmental move.
Tim doesn't turn on his air conditioning because it's bad for the battery.
I don't use air conditioning in my car very often. No,
What?
I certainly don't use max air conditioning. It's hard on the battery of your car.
I hit max AC
First
like
thing
it's
I
the
do.
first thing my fat thumb does.
First thing.
Well, you and I are very different people. Then I think that is actually hard on your battery, and you shouldn't do it.
And I also let that shower run a moment.
I'm sure you like it, and you accuse me of being wasteful. Oh
my carbon footprint allows I live within a respectable carbon footprint.
Do you?
I should be given straws for my bravery.
Yeah, Jeff's all about using mass transit. When was the last time you used transit, Tim?
It is not really an accessible option.
That is not true. The's a bus stop by your place.
It would take me 3 times,
so
4
it's
times, 5 times longer.
because it's inconvenient. You don't want to use it.
It's beyond inconvenient.
So
If I could, with the exact same amount of time, get on. Well, no,
you wouldn't do that because you'd have to be by
dirty.
people and it might be dirty.
Why? You couldn't listen to your podcast, be driven by a bus?
Yeah, but it's
lot-
dirty, Jeff. Imagine him using. Because I used to take the subway every day to work.
So did I, by the way.
It was very convenient
I
because
took
you had
light rail
no
every day.
other option.
But I did it.
Yeah,
I did it.
But I had a car. Given the choice, I took the subway every day. It was just more convenient for me. And
Well, that's fine.
But if given it, you would sit in traffic twice as long to be in your car than take a subway to go somewhere.
As long as I had parking, yes. I hate not having parking.
Because
I have to figure out
bad at parking.
if I had to. No, it's not bad. It's just
Can we film you parallel parking?
Well, actually, now that I've got a backup cam, I feel much more comfortable
So then yes.
I do it a decent amount.
So then yes.
You can. I actually feel a lot more comfortable parallel parking now than I ever did because of the backup cam. It actually makes it a lot easier.
course it is. It's Cameron. Yes, Paul.
I'll donate my the Red Dragon.
You can do it in Paul's old
If he
car.
hits it, whatever.
Yeah.
But no, if it doesn't have a backup cam, I do it now that I go downtown a decent amount. I'm parallel parking probably once a week. So I'm getting the practice in.
Paul, you'll never have to parallel park again. You can just press the button on your car.
I don't know if there is a button.
Bet you there is. There's
There
one of
may
mine.
be.
I don't really know how to use it, but
I don't know.
the guy at the
I know how
dealership
to
showed me
parallel
when I got the car. He's like, "Yeah, you just press this button. It parks itself." I was like, "This is great." I could never figure out how to use it.
It has like the sensors and like the noises and stuff like that though, so it's like it's pretty easy. And it's got like the camera.
Are you saying your car doesn't have those right now?
Mine?
Your 1993 Mazda?
It's on 1990. There's what 2003. No, 2006 Mazda 3. It has nothing. Has nothing like that.
Does it have crank windows?
No, it does have automatic. It has It was just inside that window, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get to the later set of games here. We have Carolina and Tampa Bay. Tampa's favored by 5.5 in this game. Seems like a lot of points for them, but I can't bet on the Panthers ever, so I'm going to take the Bucks. The Panthers are so bad. So
I wish it
bad.
were 6 so I could tease it, because I would tease it at 6.
Don't let anyone stop you.
But I'm stopping me. I'm going to take Tampa for the same reason as you.
Like this is exactly a repeat of what we saw a week ago against Tennessee. Like the Bucks defense and the Tennessee defense are very, very similar in the way that they're constructed. Like even to look at the numbers, Tennessee 30th against the pass, 2nd against the run. Tampa 8th against the run, 20th against the pass. Like if Tampa can't overload and try to run the ball 400 times and keep the game close that way because the run defense is too good and they're forced to pass, they can't do anything. And Tampa's passing offense is pretty good, whereas Tennessee's is really bad. So Tampa, Geoff.
I hate this game. Oh, I don't have a clue. I desperately could use Carolina to find. They play Tampa twice. I could desperately need them to win one for my Bucks unders. I'm with you, Pat, though. It is how Tampa can still move the ball in the air. Sure, Baker might make mistakes, but is Carolina, they don't take advantage of anything ever. So, even Baker, you probably do have some leeway to turn the ball over 1.5 times and not get burned for it like you would against 85% of the league. I hate this game. Doesn't exist to me. I'll lay the points.
Taking Tampa as well. I just who is betting Carolina in this spot? Like this I feel like
It's
this
the new
number
coach
has
game.
to. It is but it's usually new coach with a good team, right? Isn't that how it works?
Yeah. Oh, for me, it's hard to do in football because when you fire your coach in football, you're so far up shit's creek. But recent history has shown that if you hate the coach enough, like they did in Oakland or in Vegas, it can work to win a bet for a week or two.
It didn't seem like the Panthers locker room turned on Frank Reich. It was just they're terrible.
Yeah, and their owner turned on him.
Maybe he should coach the team.
I don't know. Went really bad for Frank in a way where, if your team hires him as their offensive coordinator, you're like, uh-oh. In the same way, if when the Jets fire Saleh, I'd be thrilled if he was my defensive. Anyone who's looking for an upgrade.
He's a very good defensive coach. Yeah, very good defensive coach.
He'd be that'd be a great hire for him. For any team, I think, when we find out he's picked a place to be a DC after this job. He's earned a DC job in a way that, Brandon Staley's going to hand out orange slices at soccer. There are two different ways of failing. Salah's going to have his choice of DC jobs, I would believe.
Cleveland and the Rams. The Rams are favored by 3.5 points against the Browns, likely starting PJ Walker at quarterback. Not sure if Myles Garrett is going to play in this game. It does seem like Amari Cooper is going to be back, though. I actually like the Browns. 3.5 is too much for the Rams in this spot. And maybe they can, again, maybe they're maybe they have the ability to jump up in this game, and then Cleveland can absolutely do nothing. But even without Myles Garrett, their defense is still going to be pretty good. I very much doubt that the Rams are going to be able to rush for 250 yards against the Browns, regardless of who's on the other side of the field. And it's going to be a back and forth. Although the weird stat that I had on this game was the overs are 8-5 when Cleveland plays on the road since the beginning of last season. Overs are 5-3 since the beginning of last year when the Rams play a really good defense. So maybe I'm misreading this. That there's going to be a lot more offense in this game than I guess I may think. But I just think it's going to be a close field goal game, and I will take the 3.5 points, Tim.
What was the spread on Sunday night here?
Okay, Tim.
3?
It was 3.
I think so. I think it's gonna be a close game to start for sure, because the Browns' defense is so good. But in the end, Stafford is so much better than PJ Walker, and he has his receivers that I'm going to take the Rams here.
Geoff?
I'm with Pat. I just feel like it's a lot of points. I don't know. If anything, like, it has to be a bit inflated about the Rams getting to play a scrimmage last week. Yeah, great defense over the field goal. Weird game. I'm taking these points. Weird.
It does look like Garrett is going to play. So that's good news. Even if he is banged up. No word on Dorian Thompson-Robinson yet. He's still in concussion protocol. But I think this one's going to be a highly watched game.
Dude.
I wouldn't think so.
Did you see the play he got injured on?
Yeah, he got rocked.
Oh.
So what are you supposed to do? Like, he got rocked, but you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off, and then you want to make an off-balance throw where you get up in the air like you're Derek Jeter.
Yo, like, Tim and I talked about it when they kept showing the replay. Like, it wasn't a dirty hit. It shouldn't have been a penalty.
It wasn't. His whole
just a
body
hard hit.
was exposed. Like, he got up. Like, imagine Jeter leaving his feet to throw to first. Your whole body is just wide open. And then, I'm sorry to do it, but there is like a quarterback who you think would be respected is 2 feet out of bounds, puts his foot down and gets obliterated, and they're fingering their buttocks instead of throwing a flag.
This is why this show has to be rated explicit.
That's not the only reason. Yeah, I mean,
it's not the only reason.
Yeah, but I mean, after your psychopath takes about eating in your car, that's another reason to rate it explicit.
As Geoff said, he sees people doing it all the time.
There's a lot of mental illness around, Tim. It's not just you.
So here we go again, being judged. No. All people do is judge.
You don't feel weird like I've just purchased from the drive-thru, and instead of wrapping around, like leaving the parking lot and entering a road, I'm wrapping back around and parking?
Doesn't feel weird to me at all.
Yeah, strange. I'm on the Browns. Feels too many points.
Okay.
I still don't know what to make of the Rams, and it's week 13.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, they're not good, but they're not like bottom of the barrel bad either. And I don't know what to make of the Browns with PJ Walker. Sometimes their defense shows up and they play that game like they did against, and that's usually at home. The defense looks really good. So maybe that's one thing on the fast track in Indianapolis. Gardner Minshew was able to pile up a bunch of points on them, but so was PJ Walker. So they're kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde team every single time. I'll talk through it with Tambo on the DraftKings show that maybe this is a game to look at because no one is going to go here. I'm guessing people are going to go to San Francisco and Philadelphia. America's game of the week. It's a fun one. It is. Oh, it's 3 now? Jesus. Eagles are
holy shit.
Are really? 3-point dogs at home.
They'll probably keep climbing too, right? I can't imagine it ever goes down.
It could go down.
Let's see. In real time, it's 2.5. So it already did go down.
Interesting. Well, I would imagine it should go back to 3 then. Don't feel like it's enough points.
I kind of agree with you, but I think just blindly taking the Eagles has been a winning strategy this year.
I have to take San Francisco.
I feel that way
I'm a big enough square to play the revenge game angle. And if you asked me who will go to the Super Bowl from the NFC, I lean San Francisco. So I'm going to pick them here.
They went to overtime the week before, late. Like this is the
Not
Geoff
just late.
Fienberg
It
special.
was a thank
yeah,
you.
exactly.
That was off my tongue.
As
That
soon
was
as it
literally
finished, that
off
game
my
finished,
tongue.
I thought Geoff is going to be against Philadelphia. And if Buffalo played this week, you would have been the same with Buffalo.
It
You would have
wasn't
written
just
both those
overtime.
teams off. Yeah, it
They
was the
literally
grinding
felt
nature
like
of
they
it.
played a full fifth quarter.
And in that cold and vicious rain and wind and like, yeah. If I could have bet anything this week, it would have been that Geoff will have to be on San Francisco.
Yes, thank you, Tim. So there it is. I'm on San Francisco, who's at extra rest versus the 5-quarter game.
Yeah, but there you have it. San Francisco for me as well.
I'm going to take San Francisco too. The coin is taking San Francisco. It's not
And
great.
the Eagles can portray this us against the world mentality this week. Is they're a 3-point underdog and they win every week, and they won the game last year, even with the circumstances of it.
And they're going to be
that
dogs.
will
next week,
galvanize them and their fans, and I love them and their fans.
See,
But in this game,
I think this is the potential here for us to make money, not this week, but probably in the NFC Championship game when San Francisco goes to Philadelphia, not having the extra rest and not coming off an overtime game. And they're getting like 3.5 points because they win this game by 40. And everyone's like, oh my God, San Francisco is going to stop them. And the Eagles just beat them. And then we all bet the Eagles.
I think
and we
this
win
is
money.
the
okay,
week.
I'll be with you there, maybe, Pat, for that pivot. But for Sunday, I'm on San Francisco, and it's surrounded by 2 sacrificial lamb 4 p.m. games where I will overbet this game just because of its great TV implications. I don't know.
So
That's how I roll.
Here are the two things. Like, is Lane Johnson going to play? I don't know. If he doesn't play, it's going to be all hell breaking loose because the Bills were able to get into the backfield pretty easily, at least in the first half, against the Eagles last week. And the Bills don't have the world's best pass rush, and San Francisco's pass rush is actually quite good. The one thing hanging on the other side of that, though, if Lane Johnson is back and they are able to protect Hurts, San Francisco's pass defense is not good. Like, their pass defense is completely predicated on getting to the passer quickly so they don't have time to make a decision. Hurts can evade, Hurts can extend plays, and Hurts can look downfield. So there might be the potential for like 3 80-yard touchdowns for the Eagles here too. That would be the other side of this if they are able to protect Hurts. It's just I don't think they're going to be able to do that. If let's say Lane Johnson plays, but he's only like 60%, I don't know how much good that's doing them.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Probably the Eagles can't win this game, but
It's all fair, and it's also fair that when the 49ers are healthy on offense, they're just a wagon.
they seem that way. This is a good time to bet some Dallas futures. Philly's got a real chance to get ping-ponged here. Dallas could be leading the NFC East by the end of next week. So
Can they?
keep an eye on that.
You've been like a yo-yo.
Hold on. How could that be possible?
Because they'll
Philly
have
can
tied
clinch a
record.
playoff spot.
Philly will be at
Do they play Dallas next week?
yes in Dallas.
Oh,
And I would
okay.
like the
Oh,
Cowboys
and
in
it's
that
a
game.
look ahead. Oh my God!
And Dallas has the extra rest.
And Dallas will have all that extra rest. Like this is a great spot to pivot against the Eagles and on to the Cowboys.
See,
if you like the Cowboys at all,
you say
things
that
are broken right for them.
Yeah, but it has and it hasn't because Philly can. I mean, I don't want to say they can afford to lose these games, but do you know who the Eagles' final 3 games are against?
Arizona.
assume Washington
Giants, Arizona Giants,
Oh wow!
Sure. Sure.
and the rest of the Dallas schedule is Seahawks, Eagles, Bills, Dolphins, Lions, Commanders.
So, so I guess the Bills are sort of tough, and I guess the Dolphins are kind of tough.
You have you have the Lions winning the fucking Super Bowl.
Oh, I didn't hear you say Lions as well. Yeah, sure.
And
That's fair,
and a
but-
division game in Washington in Week 17 as well. Like that schedule is far more difficult than what the Eagles have to put up. And Dallas still has to beat Philly just to get the tiebreaker back to even.
You're right. It does, but I'm just saying, as soon as Dallas gets it back to even, the odds are going to be a heck of a lot shorter. So, this is the time to do it.
You'd be better off. I think you'd be better off in that circumstance betting Dak to win MVP.
No,
You
that
just
I
get
agree with that.
you just get better odds.
I just looked at the odds. I actually don't think that's true.
So the odds of Dallas to win the NFC is what?
When the NFC East right now, Dallas is plus 700.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. So I guess they looked at the schedule just like I did. So yeah, then you'd be right because it's plus 750 for Dak to win MVP.
Yeah.
Yeah, those odds aren't. I didn't realize it was plus 700 for them to win the NFC East.
Yeah.
Well, it's all going to be for naught when Dallas loses on Thursday night outright to the Seahawks.
Well, that's a fair point. But I'm just saying this is a good spot here to think maybe Philly gets beaten up a bit. But, gets beaten up a bit against two really good teams.
I mean, Geoff, the more that we talk about this, the more I kind of want to bet Philly. I'll see what this ends up as. If Tim's right, as it did go back down to 2.5, but it gets back up to 3 and then breaches through 3, then all of a sudden we got like 4 by the time Sunday comes around. I'll probably take the Eagles.
Yeah, I'll feel silly when they win, but I can't. There's just too many check marks for San Francisco, which is probably why the line is crazy. And there's probably a lot of fans, like, I don't want to say like less hardcore fans are going to see this line and be like, that is insane. I get these points at the Eagles at home.
Do you think that San Francisco will be your Omaha Steaks premium pick of the week?
No. I mean, it's the premium game of the week. It's Fox, right?
Yeah.
It's Fox.
Yep.
So where would Nance and Romo even be this week?
I'm guessing Denver and
Houston?
Although that's
Wow.
I got that mixed up because that's in the late window, so they probably don't go head to head with that. Indian, Tennessee?
Yeah.
Arizona,
go
Pittsburgh?
to Pittsburgh.
Bye week?
They might do that.
They might give it's like when
They might send them to Washington and give them the Dolphins.
sometimes Nance takes off like the most low rung tournaments. It's like Andrew Catalan does the CBS, right? Like the really low grade ones he doesn't do. Or I guess they go to NBC. I don't know. Now I'm making shit up. I have no idea where Jim Nance would be assigned this week.
Did you know that if you go to omahasteaks.com right now, it's 50% off everything site-wide, and with code Mayo, you get an extra $30 off?
I know exactly where they are this week. They're off all week.
I guess makes sense. They got a little vacation because they did things. Well, no, they did Sunday too.
Yeah, they did 2 in 1 week.
Thanks for helping out with that one. I appreciate that.
I mean, I was curious. Not that it really mattered.
You guys just don't listen to me at all, do you?
What? Geoff asked a question. I wanted to answer it for him.
So you just didn't listen to what I said?
I thought you said it like maybe they're off, like there's no game worth it. I didn't know that was an official confirmation that they are off. Sorry.
That is an official confirmation.
Not what I said. So you guys just legitimately don't listen to me.
You
I'm
said
sorry.
they're not. I did listen to
You said you didn't know where they were either.
You can listen to the
well,
show back. How about that? At the 155 mark, you go listen back to this conversation. Yes, Paul.
Okay.
My Omaha Steaks pick of the week is that Geoff and Tim will simultaneously not listen to Pat.
Then you'd be a winner. You'd already hit your omahasteaks.com premium pick of the week, even with the 50% off using code Mayo. Jesus fucking Christ. Sorry, sponsor. Kansas City and Green Bay on Sunday Night Football.
There's an apple dessert in those Omaha steak boxes, like apple heart, like you heat it up in the oven. Oh, man, it's the goods. It's the goods.
Do you want me to send you some of those desserts? Because those ones are available in Canada. If you're shipping to Canada, you can only get desserts. The border's real iffy on meats right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's I mean, well before premium picks, like my wife would always get that meat box from something from work would send it to her, and I always enjoyed that. So I never had to hassle you for one. Now you're saying the meats can't cross the border?
Yeah, well, Tim, I was going to get Tim the Wagyu, and they were like, no, can't bring that across.
Tim cursed it.
He did. But I can get you the desserts. That's not a problem.
Cam's going to be devastated.
I cooked Cam up with something else, a workaround.
Good.
I worked it out. He'll like that. He'll like that it was a workaround too. It's just like Jerry's dad, with the hot wizards. They got to be hot. Get a good deal on them. Cam's all in on that kind of thing. Sunday Night Football. Kansas City at Green Bay. Green Bay is a 6.5-point dog at home. You watched the Packers, I guess, more than anyone here, Geoff, back-to-back weeks at the Chargers, then on Thanksgiving when we all watched them. I still don't know what to make of them. They still look kind of useless, but they're better now somehow. Like Jordan Love isn't actively throwing it to the other team, which has really helped them.
Yeah, so this might be a really dumb move. Like to sort, maybe this is a good chance to time to fade them. But I am silly enough to believe they are now like a legitimate team, the legitimate team that I thought they could be, had the potential to be. The roster seemed like it could very well be set up to be this year. It took them even what felt like longer than Denver to get something going, despite I think they beat Denver somewhere earlier. Irrelevant. I think they are a normal, legitimate, middle of the pack, definitely middle of the pack league team, which means you're higher than middle of the pack NFC team, Pat. That is my perception, especially if they get healthy. If Alexander can be back in this game, this seems like a sucker bet of the week. Like this seems like Vegas wants to steal people's Christmas money after stealing it with those teasers gone to hell last on Thursday.
Yeah, but put it this way. If the Lions do cover the teaser, I mean, Vegas might be shut down. I mean, I wouldn't get a check from DraftKings Sportsbook anymore because I think every favorite won. Like every money line parlay won until Monday night.
Yeah, but it didn't matter. They were just giving back a little money that they took from the world on Thursday morning. Not even the late game.
No, I
got
agree
it right out of the chute.
I'm going to take the Packers plus 6.5. It's a low total, and just the unders keep coming through on Sunday Night Football. So you
might have lost your teaser. I saw you won the first of many run the Sims parlay from that Thursday game.
I won a lot of money over the past like 7 days between same game parlays and DraftKings on the weekend. It was fucking fantastic. Hit the one on Monday night.
I saw them.
Someone pointed out to me that I so rarely post like I post everything on like the PME Facebook page, and I usually like tweet out the same game parlays, but I never post them up there. But I did post that one up. That there's this whole commentary under it. It's like there's no way this could hit. This is where it's going to lose. I'm a Vikings fan. Here's what they do. And I went back to check out it this morning, and all comments were deleted.
Yeah, that's good. Listen, I'm like a lunatic Charger fan, but you've never seen me enter the discourse of talking up or down like Chargers fan, like arguing with someone about like a fantasy rating on a Charger. Like that is, I agree with the Levitans of the world that is like deranged laundry behavior. I have my own deranged laundry behavior, but I'll never it's never in that scope.
Paul's hand went up so fast that I think that he may disagree with you.
Okay, go for it.
No, I was going to say that we give Tim like a really, really hard time on this show for having like crazy, sometimes bad takes, but he always stands by them. Like, don't be a person who...
He's a man of honor.
Well, he might also not know how to delete comments on the internet.
Yeah, but people who come after you, or like they're planting a seed there so that if they're right, they can be right. It's like, you don't have the right to delete that because you lose all credibility the moment you delete that.
Well, I mean, I would say that's one of the things that people enjoy about Tim so much is that he makes crazy claims and he stands by them. He doesn't try to hide, although he hasn't talked in like 20 minutes. So
these are compliments, Tim.
These are supposed to be compliments.
But you're having a free-flowing conversation. I didn't have anything to interject with. So,
are you going to pick the Packers or the Chiefs?
I will take the Chiefs, and I will tease the Chiefs down. And as much as I thought the Packers looked very impressive, to be sure, on Thursday morning, that they played Detroit very solidly. I can't pick against the Chiefs here in primetime. Every fiber of my being makes me think that it's going to be a pretty comfortable win for Kansas City. So I'm taking them.
Okay, Geoff, who are you taking?
The Chiefs have that gear. They have it, but they're still revving the engine a bit. This is going to be a prototypical Chiefs like 4-point win. I'm taking the Packers at home in prime time. I hope, like, thoughts and prayers, I mean that, to the dudes that get waxed on Sunday that think they're just winning it back on the Chiefs Sunday night. It will be a sweat game. It will be.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't want to make it too easy. The scripts can't work like that. Then there'd be no intrigue. Monday Night Football. Bengals and Jags. This would have been such an awesome game.
Yes, would have.
Browning's bad. Maybe he gets better in his second career start. But the majority of his offense came off bank passes against the Steelers. And then the Steelers gave the Browns the ball, or gave the Bengals the ball a few times. The Bengals defense actually played a little bit better than I think, but I will continue to kind of ride for it that Jags defense is really good. And their offense is actually kind of shitty. As weird as that sounds, with all it's almost like Tim points out with Atlanta. They have all these names. The Jags have a real good names offense, but their offense isn't actually that good. It's their defense that's really good. And I was shocked to learn, when I looked at it, just because you don't pay attention to the Jags defense that much, that I think Josh Allen is a sack and a half off the lead for the year in terms of total sacks. And no one is talking about him as Defensive Player of the Year. And this is the unit that is making them 8-3 right now.
Definitely.
As
They're gonna destroy Browning. I don't think he has a chance. I like the Jags here. I'm teasing the Jags down the last part of the teaser.
It's probably going to be a shitty game on Monday Night Football, which sucks. They felt like they were in their weird spot with their quarterback and having hired the Urban Meyer debacle, and they found respectability with a man in Doug Peterson. And now the offense is weird, Pat.
By the way,
but
not a good coach.
Maybe, but he has some. You're right. He might awkward coach. It's an awkward coach.
He might be.
I'm not calling him a bad coach.
He might be like a Pete Carroll, Mike Tomlin type, who I don't think are quote unquote good coaches in terms of game management or developing systems. Maybe Doug Peterson is just good at motivating people, and sometimes that's all you want, like a CEO head coach. That's probably the best skill that you can have, as it's completely unteachable kind of thing. It's something you inherently have or you don't. And Carroll has it, Tomlin has it, maybe Doug Peterson has it, but he makes some baffling decisions sometimes.
He does, but sometimes he can drop some buttes from the chalkboard and have them show up on the football field.
He ain't scared half the time. Half the time he's real scared.
Not scared. But hey, as he said to his boys in the locker room after the game, gritty, not pretty. And you could beat this Bengals team any which way. I don't know. I believe there's a lot of the Bengals have a lot of star power, but it can't be tapped without Burrow.
Nope,
and I think they're weak on defense. They've got the defensive end, but the Jags can work away from that.
And Hendrickson's even banged up. He's not going to be out, but he's not going to be 100% either. And you can run all over the Bengals. And I even pointed out, the Jags have a porous O-line, especially in the run game. They're not generating any push. So maybe ETN gets bottled up. He was bottled up pretty good last week against Houston until the fourth quarter. They just kept giving it to him. And weirdly enough, Dearness Johnson looks good for them out of the backfield. He looks fast. Maybe they just never expect him. They never expect Lawrence to actually hand it off to him. So no one even thinks about it. But he's been breaking some big ones the past few weeks. Anyway, so it's a round of Jags. So here are the games we went round of this week, including the coin. Everyone on Jacksonville, everyone on San Francisco, everyone on Miami, everyone on Pittsburgh, everyone on the Chargers. And all of the favorites basically won and or covered last week. This could just be, if we just took the opposite of all of our picks, we might be doing pretty good here this week.
Nah, I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay. Won't worry about it.
Won't happen to us. Won't happen to us.
The picks.
Put up our team parlay against the other show's parlay. See what does better.
Your parlay?
I think
I don't want to put up your parlay with my name on it.
No, not my parlay. The one we just put together by all agreeing on the same side.
Well, I do think that the past 3 weeks on the Best Bet Show, I think we've gone 3-0 with gold picks. It's just the rest of the picks are terrible.
That's awesome.
Omaha Steaks premium picks of the week, aka the Superlocks. Code Mayo at omahasteaks.com. 50% off site wide, plus code Mayo gets you that $30 off. Don't know what to give someone in your life who enjoys the meats? Get them Omaha Steaks. Never have to leave your house. Do it from your phone right now as you're listening to this. The link is down in the description. It's super easy to do. Like if you're on your phone, if you're watching it on YouTube and you have YouTube Premium, then you can click it and continue watching the show. If you're just listening to the audio version after you rate and review this show and subscribe to it, if you haven't done that already, you can just keep listening to it while you order your Omaha Steaks. Geoff, where do you think you're going? You need to make up ground in the Omaha Steaks Premium Pick of the Week competition for the year.
I hate this so much, and I
Okay.
haven't done it once this year for good reason. And I wanted to do the Jets. If I could get the 3 with the Jets, I probably would have done it. The Chargers.
Chargers
The
minus
Patriots
6.
are a new level. Tim was right. I was wrong. Like there is a floor I didn't think they could hit, and they have crashed through it like Marvin Home Alone, and it can get worse. It can get worse.
Tim?
I will continue with my Omaha carnivore theme, which I'm developing, and I'm going to take Jacksonville and the Jaguars.
That's actually where I was leaning as well. So
Join me.
Jags minus 8.5. Well, that's no fun because we're tied in picks. What do I want to do here? I kind of like the Browns.
Oh, that's not a bad one.
You know what?
You
Screw
loved
it.
the Jets.
You know what? I like Detroit. I'm going to take Detroit minus 4 on the road in New Orleans. I just don't think that New Orleans is capable of putting up a fight at this point. And it's a great rebound spot for a team with 10 days rest going against a shitty Saints team. Like if this line was set, Geoff, before Thanksgiving, what do you think the advanced on this would have been? 6.5?
I don't know. I'm a weird Saints fan, so maybe I'm the wrong guy to ask because I seem to think they're better than they are, and they cost me a lot of money with their pathetic ATS this year. I tell you.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's going to be Detroit for me, Chargers for Geoff, and Jacksonville for Tim as the OmahaSteaks.com code Mayo premium picks of the week. To recap your teaser, it's a 4-legger, Tim. 6 points.
There is Kansas City, Jacksonville, Miami, and the Chargers.
So you're 4-9 on the year after going 1-1 last week and 24-130 lifetime. This is your best year ever, though, for your free money plays. It's not close.
Thank you. Yeah,
I mean, you don't need
totally
to thank
agree.
me. I'm looking at the numbers.
You're right.
We got a lot of favorites this week. Interesting stuff. All right, that will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. I did get I got multiple texts, 3 DMs, and then Bronstetter actually tweeted it to me today that we're all receiving McDonald's gift cards for Christmas from you, Tim.
Look, I'm delighted that McDonald's is getting into the game of offering free sandwiches when you purchase a gift card. It's a smart idea.
What if they said that you're not allowed to eat them in your car?
Ha ha ha! Very funny.
Would you still get them? Are we?
Yes,
are
I
we?
would.
Are you going to do this and like pretend like this is a really nice gift for everyone?
No, I'm not going to do this to everyone. I'll probably buy a couple, but not everybody's getting a McDonald's gift card.
Some people are getting nothing.
I feel like these restaurants, they've all gotten like chintzier with and Tim can
freebies?
speak to this because he actually like uses this for gift purposes. But I've noticed like even Subway used to get a free footlong for like $25. Now it's $30 for 6 cookies free. Like Tim can't give that away.
I agree.
I feel like they're all getting chintzier in this economy.
That would be one thing. Like the Mayo Media Christmas party is approaching. I think I have everything finalized for it. Like I finally got the food finalized. I had to bicker with the bartending staff who were bringing the liquor to bring better wine because the wine they were going to bring was like the absolute fucking nut low wine. And my wife looked at it and she was like, no, can't serve this. Like we'll buy like a few good bottles to start the night with. Then when people are like wasted, they can have the shitty wine that they're serving out. But yeah. I was thinking, you know, no one really says no to Subway cookies. Buy like 30 Subway cookies and put them on a table.
They're gone. Those macadamia nut cookies, people will eat those by the handful.
Yeah.
I agree. Subway cookies are elite, but you also you put out a tray of any good chocolate chip cookies. Like those shouldn't last long.
See, I'm with Tim. I like the macadamia nut ones.
Oh, sure. Anything hot and fresh. Although I'm a grown adult, I love the kids' sugar cookies at Christmas too.
You're like, it's a sugar cookie, man.
Yum, yum, yum. I love Christmas.
What were we talking about the other day, Tim? That it's like Geoff on Christmas. What was it? It was like us. Canadians on American Thanksgiving is like Geoff on Christmas. Why we like it so much. I can see I can see why you like Christmas so much, Geoff.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing. And listen, we're an eclectic group. You get included, and we have a lot of family and friends that celebrate Christmas, and we're included. And they know we'll always never show up empty-handed. We do it right. I love it. It's great time of year. But I love a good country ham too.
But the greatest thing about American Thanksgiving for Canadians. We do the show and then we just watch football all day. That's it. There's no exteracting with a family. There's no having to go eat, go somewhere, have travel plans.
Exactly.
It's like a day off that has 3 football games, and it's fucking fantastic. And I assume the low, there's no stakes to it. So I assume that's what it is for Christmas for you. That it's just whatever you want to do, just go do that. You want to sleep?
Okay, yes. To your point, on actual Christmas. The Christmas parties in the lead up to actual Christmas Eve and Christmas Day we're included in, but I'm not necessarily included in people's Christmas Day inner family activities. And yeah, Christmas Day, it's just do whatever you want. Most things are closed. A lot of Jews order Chinese food. It's a thing. Chinese
movies.
Food and go to the movies. That was a classic Jewish Christmas.
Yeah, because Christmas can be stressful for a lot of people. I can still remember growing up. I would have Christmas with my mom and my mom's family, and then I'd have to go see my dad at some point during the day. Then I'd have to go see my dad, my grandparents, my dad's parents at another point. Then loop back around. It's just it's a lot going on sometimes when you have to go see everyone on one day. I'd rather just kick back and do nothing. That's one of the main reasons.
That was the whole. By the way, that was the whole premise of Christmas with the Cranks, which is a movie you completely dismissed as a bad movie, but they wanted to get away from the Christmas stuff initially.
I don't need a movie to tell me to do nothing. I just told you that I disliked doing all that stuff. So you think I want to see a movie about it?
And so did they. And then they got roped into it.
But everyone seems to love, Americans say Thanksgiving is the best because it's Christmas without the pressure of gifts.
Yeah, I can see that. And it's a good time too because it's Thursday. It seems like everyone travels on the Wednesday, it seems. Then you get the Thursday off and there's football and you get to hang. And I think it's a lot of people go back to where they're from at that time too. I don't feel like Canadian Thanksgiving works that same way. Maybe it does for some people. I never when I didn't live where my parents live, I never came back for Thanksgiving. It just never happened.
Same
it never had that effect. You are right. The Thursday night of Thanksgiving or the Wednesday night, it's very much you go to your local bar and see everyone you went to high school with or something in America. That's a tradition that we don't kind of have. Thanksgiving's not important enough to go home for here.
Yeah, that's more just happens at Christmas time here.
Correct. Everything happens at Christmas here.
Yeah. But I do like the idea of traveling on a Wednesday, Thursday's a holiday, no one goes to work on Friday, you have that off as well. And then by the time Monday strolls back around, it feels like that Monday's kind of optional too, depending on your travel plans. Makes a lot of sense.
I agree with you.
I like it. And I like it more that I don't actually have to do anything and just kind of chill out. And it's great for content for us. We can keep doing content while no one else is doing content. We surged up to number 2 on the iTunes charts last week. It was fantastic. By the way, how good was that Thanksgiving show? Many are saying it is our best show in years.
Geoff was happy. He's just happy to basically be a spectator for the most part. You really were happy.
No, I don't know. I enjoy it. There's a full day of football ahead on a Thursday, chatting with Cam. That's enough. That's my happy place.
All right. That will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. I want to thank the coin. I want to thank Geoff and Tim Andergust.
Tim Andergust.
That's not my name.
For being on the line today. Thank you to Paul as well. I forgot to time code that last Tim Andercust because I turned off my stopwatch. So we'll have to look for it, and I'll wrap it up soon so we know exactly when it is on the timeline to put in the drop. All right? Want to thank all of you. Go to omahasteaks.com, play in the listeners league, and runthesims.com. Geoff, I mean, I've hit 2 same-game parlays of over 10-1 over the past 5 days. I missed the other one by a rushing attempt. That one was going to be 15-1. So the Run the Sims simulator for the props is hot fire right now. Use code Mayo at runthesims.com. And it's like $12 a week. You're probably betting more than that. Would highly suggest that you do it. Yes, Geoff.
It's the best thing about like these horrific primetime games.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is, like, especially like when you start parlaying them all together, you can get paid out. Like, I've hit more same-game parlays than I hit golf winners this year.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. Anyone following your feed, it's like every other primetime game, you're winning like a 14-1 on a hundo.
Yeah, it's great. Piling up that money. So when I can go on vacation. And I won enough that I can go visit you guys in Toronto this weekend. Not the main reason that I'm going up. I have reasons for going up with my wife, but yeah, makes it pretty easy. My kids get gifts this year, Geoff. It's nice.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So thank you all for watching. I'm Pat Mayo. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience!
So I'm going to start like this, count me down to 3, and then that's when you can start your move.
How fast do you want me to do this?
Like you were just doing it. We'll practice once. Count down from 3.
3, 2, 1.
Previously on the Pat Mayo Experience. I think that worked.
Like the zoom, I actually did a lot better than I thought I was going to do.
Experience!